Is this working? I can't. How will I know if it's working? It says that my mic is working, so I think it is. Well, hello, everybody, or lack thereof. This is a 1,000 subscriber live stream. I don't have high hopes for. Yeah, hi, awesome, somebody joined. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for a huge crowd or anything, but I figured, what the heck, I'll try out the live feature on YouTube. Turns out you need 24 hours of notice to use your phone. So I tried to set it up with my phone, and YouTube did not like that. So I have to wait 24 hours to use this guy. So I grabbed my laptop from meetings that I have on it for work. I think it sounds good, so I'm not too worried about the audio, and I can see the video looks fine. Yeah, I'll probably putz around for maybe 10 minutes or so, just kind of talk and ramble or so. I grabbed out some random things to talk about, but I do have a giveaway planned, so at some point I'll get to those details. Also, there's a fly that's bothering me, so I got this thing out to hopefully get him. But yeah, also, if anybody else would like to, I forgot to grab a cold one. Please join me in drinking something. Got some Oktoberfest here. Nothing too fancy, but definitely good. Is this a twist? Ooh. Bust out the good old compact that's been riding in there. Open that up. Hey, Brockster Brogan. Nice to. I'm just about Canadian. I live right on the border, like probably 100 miles south of the Canadian border. And my accent is often made fun of for being Canadian. So, I always love seeing my fellow Northerners. And recently, I discovered that I was looking through the YouTube analytics for the 1,000 subscribers. I kind of did, dug in there. Well, will it take me off of the live stream if I flip it this way? Then does it still count? I need something to pour it in. Would be ideal. I don't have any glasses out here. It could get pretty ratchet. If I got some cut myself a little cup out of the bottom of that or something. I'll just keep it discreet then down below. Thank you for the heads up. It is a Hofbrau. Never had it before. It's really good though. What is it? Yeah, Hofbrau Munchen. So pretty good, actually. Yeah, it's probably one of my preferred Oktoberfests. But I don't remember what I was talking about. Hi, Adan. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I appreciate your comments, though. I really like the frequent commenters. I feel like it's like an ongoing conversation with people. Oh, that's okay. I didn't do this for money. Although with the 1K, I did monetize the channel. I'm super curious to see how that turns out. But, it's not for money, so I don't really care. That's just fine by me. So then I don't have to keep it down below. Just did it for giggles. I don't remember what I was going on about. But one thing I'll talk about, I guess, is, the channel getting to 1,000 subscribers is kind of funny because I had no aspirations for this or anything about it. And I did put out a lot of videos right away, and maybe that kind of helped the channel grow quick. But man, I feel like this channel grew to 1,000 subscribers fast. Like there's a lot of like small YouTube channels that I watch. Like Steel to Stone is one. Northwest Knife Guy, I think, is another one. There's some good small ones that are just like several hundred subscribers that I consider to be, like better channels than mine. And then when I've surpassed them to this major landmark of 1,000 subscribers, it's kind of funny just to think of that. I guess it's just odd. Yeah, it's something. So, and I'm super appreciative of, thank you, fun bag guy. That's awesome. Thank you to everybody. I just appreciate it. And like the quality of my videos is not super high. It's just kind of yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I love sharpening is the weeds. I think that's a lot of us, especially the ones that are drawn to the type of content we have here. It's just so easy to get way into it, and it's just fun. It's just so fun. Yeah, it is. Like my journey to sharpening, because it's not like needed anymore. Nobody needs a knife, I guess, these days. But in my opinion, you need a knife. But obviously, my opinion and probably everybody else's here is pretty skewed. The only crowd that really appreciates sharpening is like the chef crowd, and even then, a lot of chefs don't sharpen their own knives. But that's a fun crowd to be because they have such a high appreciation for both the knives and the sharp. So there's a chef's knife is a great group on Facebook that I really like to kind of be around that. There's another one that's a smaller group that I like to. What's it called? I think it's like a chef's knives buy and sell or something. I don't remember. That one's not as active, but still a good group. But yeah, and then when it's a hobby and it's not necessitated, getting rough up trim was taking a while. Oh, your crew wear one, was that the purple and DLC from, was it Knife Joker? Is that the crew wear PM2 you got? Heck yeah, they're meant to be beat on. Right here's my 10V PM2, and it's kind of hard to tell, but the scales are all dirty. Got it from FRKSHW. Oh man, that's a lot of letters. That's not Smoky Mountain. I cannot figure that out. I'm sorry. I'm a Neanderthal sometimes. But yeah, this 10V PM2 is probably one of my very favorite work knives. Oh, that's your name. I got it. Slow to learn sometimes. Okay, and there's the DLT training one. I got it. But yeah, this 10V PM2 is freaking awesome to work with. And actually, in using it, one thing I was really surprised by is I had it at 15 degrees per side, and I was working with a lot of like PVC and plastic and like 55-gallon plastic drums and things like that. Is at 15 degrees per side, this thing would roll before it would chip when it would fail. That really surprised me about this 10V. It was obviously you'd think it would chip. I thought it would be in the 64, 65 Rockwell range, high carbide volume, not super tough. But I think most of the people here probably love us some 10V K390 and appreciate the fact that even though it's not tough, it's almost as tough as some of those stainless PM steels. even at that high hardness. So it's pretty sexy. But yeah, it rolled instead of chipped, which just blew my mind, and it made me worried that it was much softer than I thought it was. But not a lot, but I saw a few tests of the Rockwell on these ones. These are the River's Edge Cutlery Sprint, or not Sprint, but the exclusive that they did. And I think they were turning out pretty good, 64 and a half Rockwell. And then I've edge retention tested this one on cardboard, and it did fantastic. It's the second longest lasting I have compared to this Maximit Manix 2 here. And it's a beast. I love this guy. Although I'm going to say this. So now I've had this K390 Delica for a long time now, sharpened it a bunch, used it a bunch. And I think this Secchi K390 is done a little bit better than this 10V is. Also, this 10V is a little bit more corrosion prone than this K390 is. And it has had a decent amount of corrosion on it. And I can actually see a few spots on it right now. It doesn't really bother me too much. But anywho, let's see what the comments are saying. To get it's treated like a, 3V is a steel that I think needs to be or could be used more. Like with a steel that tough, it should just be hard as piss, like just freaking balls to the wall. I had one of those Benchmade 200 Pucos in 3V, and it was the old heat treat that was soft. And it was pretty awful, honestly. It was pretty much awful. So I sold that one quite a while ago. But now they've updated the heat treat on their 3V Benchmade has, and that really makes me want to try it again. I've heard really good things of it in kitchen knives, actually, too. It's sharpened up really nice. So I really want to come back around to it. To me, it's almost like a Crewware, but vanadium carbide. I don't remember the exact amount of carbide content, but I think it's close to the Crewware, and then it's all vanadium carbide. So that's where I see 3V really doing it for me. Yeah, I've heard so much good stuff about Bark River's 3V, and actually Bark River Crewware I've heard good things about too. I'd really like to get into that one of these days. You sold your 10V PM2 and you sold your K390 PM2. See, I heard that the K390 Para 3 and PM2s, well, I didn't hear, I saw that they were a little bit softer. Michael Christie said he likes his anyways, even though it's soft. I don't know. I'm sure it still develops a pretty decent working edge. You'd think somebody like Michael Christie would be more into the harder stuff. But Endura and VG10 was a great knife. God, the Endura is a freaking great knife, is it not? I had a Knife Center exclusive Endura in HAP 40. It was the Packawood. That was a pimp knife. That thing was awesome. But it had some up and down blade play, and I go through cycles of like wanting to simplify my life and get rid of things so that I've got less going on, and then cycles of like, I want to taste all the flavors. And that was in me trying to simplify my life, and I sold it, and I regret that so much. I really miss that HAP 40 just because it's sharpened, like super awesome. Wasn't super hard, but hard enough. What do you think about S110V versus K390? So I don't have any S110V, so let's get that out of the way first. Unless you care a lot, and I mean like a lot about stainlessness, K390 over S110V all day, every day, twice on Sunday. The heat treat, like the best heat treated S110V, to get it up to and Spider Code goes, balls to the wall, and the hardness on it is just, the toughness is so sacrificed. You get incredible edge retention, you do, but the toughness is just, it's really not there on it. And I've heard it is a pain in the ass to sharpen. Like it just doesn't take that good of an edge. Whereas, you know, I did some testing, not really testing, more anecdotal, but like the difference between Maximate and then 10V and K390 in terms of like how fine of an edge it takes and how easily it does that. And I did finally get to a point where, yeah, Maximate takes a really nice, sweet edge if you take care of it. But like these steels take a much finer edge, a lot easier than Maximate does. And I feel like that it would be the same thing with S110V, where it doesn't take that fine of an edge. And I haven't heard good things about sharpening it. So, you know, doesn't sharpen that great. K390, this Seki K390 is probably going to blow it away. S110V has more carbide volume, I believe. I don't remember. K390 is like 17%, give or take. I think S110V is over in the 20s. So S110V is going to probably beat K390 10V, you know, in the absolute long run. But I think I don't think I know I would choose this because I've got two of these here and I've got no S110V. I'm definitely actively seeking S90V though. I've heard very good things about how it sharpens relative to S110V. And I wouldn't say I'm at the point in my life where I feel really strongly that I want stainless in terms of like EDC cutlery. But certainly in the kitchen, I've gone pretty hard over to stainless and even German cutlery, honestly. Love bark rivers. They tend to have it in the low 60s. I mean, yeah, for a knife you're going to beat up in the outdoors. I mean, 3V could probably take more than the low 60s, honestly. I don't know for sure, but it probably could. But, you know, if it performs well, it performs well. That's just kind of the thing. You know, I mean, there's more to the heat treat than the hardness, I guess, you know. 20 versions of the PM2. Damn. So how'd you choose which ones to keep? Just like the most exclusive ones, or do you have kind of ones that were your preferred users? It's Freak Show. That's what that is. Wow. Right? That's Freak Show. Freak Show EDC. Okay. I got it. Yeah, I know. Big brown bears are in the 70s. Yeah. Yeah. I like to watch him, you know, carve glass with his blades. I think this Maximate's hard enough. I don't want to see if it'll scratch glass. It'll just barely scratch glass. I'm not going to ruin my edge on glass. I don't want to chip it out. Oh, yeah. So this Spyderco Maximate will scratch glass. So what is that? Is that 68 or so? Hey, Sean, what the hell? I cannot believe you're on this live stream right now. I gotta say, you are one of my favorite people ever. Wow. This is like so flattering. I can't even deal. And this is like 2 hours earlier where you are. So this is like taking time out of your day. Wow. I really appreciate that. I am so excited for your Spyderco collab to come out. I'm going to buy that thing right away. Right now, I'm trying to decide if I want to sell a bunch of my kitchen knives. Well, I know I do, to pick up one of those 400 grit vitrified diamond stones. But I'm having a hard time, man. I'm having a hard time with it. If I feel like I haven't spent $400 on any one single item for this hobby at all. And I have so much shit for this hobby. And that kind of kills me because like when I look at all this crap that I have and I'm just like, I've spent like thousands. If I would have just been smart from the get-go, like I could have bought just a few things and have spent the same or less money and be happier for it, you know, but fuck. Yeah. Okay. I need a bigger glass. It's the bottleneck slows me down. Also, got the Magna Cut shirt. I bought this right after I watched your live stream. So yeah, got anybody who wants to support Laren, go find these shirts. They're awesome, super comfortable, badass. I like wearing it around town and just like knowing people that probably see it and they're like, what the fuck is that? So I enjoy that. You only live once. This must be going poorly. That must be what that means. The man, yes. Oh my God, right? Shake Tea, those stones. I really liked the stories you've been putting out too. I didn't even know that there was multiple types of CBN. That was very educational. And all of the like the microscope stuff you've been doing, close up on the stones, that's been really killer. Getting to see that stuff. What was the one that you just did too? That was super recent. That was really good. I don't know. I really like those Insta stories though. Those things are, I'm all about that. All right, let's see what you kept, man. Okay. 4V. Oh my God, I want to get a freaking 4V Spidey or a 4V triple B blade would be great, man. It's like what I'm waiting for. Something in the slightly shorter range, not the little bear, but just like a regular sport trapper or something in 4V. Oh my God, I'm like, that's what my eyeballs are waiting for. That or maybe something in 15V, but I don't know if my wallet can withstand a 15V blade. I knew I should have grabbed the mug. Yeah, I know. Those nail cutting videos are kind of cringy though. I think my butthole was like as tight as can be the first time I watched one of those. But I really like them because, yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of what you do, man, is kind of the, like so many people think that, yeah, something's going to shatter because it's so hard. And then you cut through a freaking nail with it. And it's like, bro, geometry, like settle down. Of course, after you cut that nail, you take it to that geometry that we all know and love. There you go. I'll go grab another one in a bit. K390 Indela. I don't know. I'm not sure how it would rust in long-term camping. I think it would just patina. I don't know. Okay. I'll be right back. Now we just got a Stella. You know, I don't do that much fun stuff. I just kind of know what I like. What should we use? Get the good old red cadet with the classic nail file that I really do appreciate. Excuse me. Got a buzzy friend hanging around here. Get that paper out of here. This always pisses me off. Just watching me struggle. Cheers. Tell us what you think of all those knife stuffs. Yeah, Spidey and Magna Cut. Fuck yeah. That's such a huge fan. Thank you. Yeah, Derek. Thank you. I like your comments. At my old employer, when I worked at a sugar refinery, there was a guy named Derek, Derek P. And I was convinced that you were him. And you may just be, but I don't think you are because I think you would have caught on by now. Love that guy. Like you too. So it's like running into you too on other people's channels. About all those knife stuffs. Well, here's something. This is something. You know, we all agree that Japanese cutlery is has advantages and some, things to prefer in terms of in the kitchen. But with where my life is at and the style of cooking I've been doing these days, which means like frantically putting shit together in like 30 minutes before my wife gets back from picking up my kid from the daycare, I've been using a lot of German cutlery. I just picked up a Wüsthof classic Sentoku. I rarely bust out my Takamura and Chromax. I even put away my Miyabi 9.5-inch Kiritsuke, just because it's just easier. I don't have to worry about worrying about rust or anything on them. And not that the rust bothers me. That's the thing. I don't really care if my knives rust. I just take it off, whatever. But it's that when the edge gets corroded, then the sharpness drops off really fast. I just don't see the advantage to the nicer steel because it corrodes away, or not away, but the edge drops off. I mean, obviously I like that Takamura's and Chromax, and I love that. I don't love that steel, but I like it. It's like a blue number 2 that's harder, but brittle as piss. And man, it's just so fun to sharpen. It takes a sick edge. And I mean, it's a freaking Takamura, and I thinned it out. Like when you hot rod a Takamura, they're already freaking smoking hot. That thing slices like a freaking like laser beam. Love that thing. But so there you go. A lot of German cutlery is what I've been using. I've been fucking around with using the honing steel versus the ceramic rod, what I really prefer for that style of cutlery. And I don't know. Sometimes I think I like the steel better. Sometimes I think I like the rod. I don't think it matters, just whatever works. But yeah, that's an unpopular opinion. Right now I prefer German cutlery, even though I have more fun with Japanese. But in terms of like in the fucking shit cooking, it's definitely the German shit right now. But I did just put my Japanese blades back in the quick access knife block because I miss them, Stellar Costco special. What? 89 cents a bottle? Are you serious? I don't think we have a Costco here. What do we have? No. What the fuck is that place called? Cashwise. We have Cashwise is our equivalent here. This is definitely not 89 cents a bottle. I love Stella though. I really do. Just got a Kiridashi, wasn't fully sharpened, but man, it was still a laser. Kiridashi is the shape though, right? Am I wrong in that? Kiridashi is like a little daggery thingy. Shun. I have one Shun. I don't have it out here. No, I don't have actually that much in terms of blades. I've got a few of the Tojiro DPs. I've got this petty that I'm going to give away here today. A new strop material, a new backing. I mean, speaking of strop, here's one that I bought from you a while ago. I dropped it though, and it came unglued here. I got to glue that back up. I've been too lazy. So I just like push it down and strop with it anyways. And then I just keep doing that. But that's 1 micron gunny juice on there. This thing is badass. So, I mean, you're talking a new backing? Because that's something I'd be super interested in. I've been working a little bit with like a denim one, and then I've been trying to compare results on the best tester. And then also, so many people have been commenting about the, work with me here. Magnifier. Microscope. There you go. Working with this goes up to 120. You can see, okay, not great. And the best tester, and then the 3-finger test. Kind of comparing like leather, balsa, and new strop, the whole thing. So it wouldn't be this. But I've been trying to compare those things. Results are not out yet. But for a long time, I've been a proponent of wood-based strops. So here we go. do a lot of this type of shenanigans. I picked up from Super Seal Steve, just using the paint stir. I just grab a few of them for free from my Menards here. I don't know if you guys have Menards. And I just pick the ones that are straight and I strap on those bitches. You don't get rounded edges doing that, that's for sure. Yeah, a lot of R&D. And it's such a fucking nuanced thing. And like, you know, when you sell it to people, like, are they going to appreciate the difference and stuff like that? Yeah. I feel that. I understand it anyways. I think I do. My gunny juice dries up so fast. It's just ready to go as soon as you are. Yeah. I think I agree with that. Excuse me. I'm trying to remember. I've got the KME, Ken Schwartz emulsions also, those CBN ones. I feel like those things dry up like fucking fast too. No, that's not right. What is it? I have a hard time spreading us around. I appreciate the ideas, Sean. So I'll get in. I'll go to there. Hey, good night, Derek. I appreciate you bopping on. Have a good night, man. But yeah, you know what? The Ken Schwartz ones do take a little bit to dry out. I haven't had any issues with gunny juice that I can think of, so I think I agree. Gunny juice is pretty badass. I really like it. I do actually prefer spray over the emulsion, so I don't have to like spread it around. But you know, that's just beggars can't be choosers, you know. So how did I get in? I got to go to Blade Show one of these days. You know, like all of my life goals, or not goals, but like things I want to do in the future, and getting to Blade Show and meeting people like you are definitely on the list of things to do. But so how did I get into blades? Fuck, I walked into a Cabela's when I was 15 with $60 in gift cards and decided, you know, fuck it, like I'll buy a knife. What the hell? Why not? I think at that time, the only knife I owned was a Leatherman Wingman that I had won. I had like a door prize at a shoot. And that was my only knife. And then for whatever, I don't even know why, went into a Cabela's with 6,000 gift cards, and I bought a D2 OD green full-size Griptilian. It was one of the Cabela's special one. That was a great first knife. I worked like remodeling this guy's house for like a year and a half when I was in high school, and that thing was great. It was awesome. It was comfortable. I was doing like, you know, irrigation and drywall and building fences and concrete work and just all kinds of shit. And that's where it started right there. How did it progress from there? You know, I think I just liked it. And then like the research that I did in finding it, you know, it kind of exposed me to the world. Like, I feel like that was even back in the day when it was hard to get a PM2. Like, I remember trying to decide if I'm going to get this Griptilian or a PM2 and watching like The Late Boy Scout. If you remember that guy's channel, I don't think he makes videos anymore. What made me take that next step? Fuck, money. When I had it a little bit more, I think I had asked for a mini Griptilian for my birthday. What made me take that step? I think just like I never used shitty knives. That's the thing, you know. Isn't that a weird fucking thing? Geeking out on knives and steel. Well, I'll summarize this thing. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit of a rambler here. Yeah, the nut and fancy fucking videos. Oh yeah. Is the Griptilian, and then I got a mini grip, and then I got a VG10. One of these. At that time, I just had the old school like work sharp, you know, fucking thing, and that's what kept my knives sharp. And then I got a Spyderco Sharp Maker. And what I was noticing with the Spyderco Sharp Maker is the knives just weren't lasting. The edges weren't lasting as long as I thought. Yep, Jay Davis. That's one. That's another good one from way back in the day. That just wasn't doing what I wanted to do. So then I asked for my birthday one other year. This was probably when I was a sophomore in college. Was this KME? I got this thing, and then I started sharpening on this. And in the researching this thing, that's when I really started. I think that's probably around the time I found you, Sean. Was when I was researching to buy this guy right here. And I picked it because I used to make like balsa strops for this. Like you can make your own stones and shit. Versus the Edge Pro with that aluminum like backing on it, you know. How did I get so geeked out? I'm a nerd. That's pretty much it. You know, I just started buying more knives, and then I'm a nerd. I take everything all the way because I'm just, you know, a loser like that. You know, I just can't help it. Like I just do things for the sake of like science. Like the whole like you can't use a steel on a Japanese knife. Like I'll fucking use a steel on a Japanese knife just to see if I can use a steel on a Japanese knife. You know, so it's kind of that sort of a thing. I think testing out different sharpening things. What captured my imagination? I don't know. I'm kind of a whore for knowledge. You know, like I think, and wisdom maybe is even the better word. Like the craving to one day be able to be like, yes, this is how that thing works. And like I attach myself to anything that has incredible depth that I can practice like in my own time wherever I am, like at home. So like because I was able to sit at home and sharpen like 2 knives every morning, or 2 knives every night, or multiple knives in the middle of the day, and try different sharpening methods and stropping and finishing techniques with the different steels. Because I was able to do that. Like, I think that's what really, you know, made it a thing that I could attach to. And plus I had all these expensive tools that I just knew I wanted to get a nice edge on. But like, it's just the depth of everything, you know? And like, it's just also interesting. Like I'm an engineer is my job. And I just like things and just knowing about things. Be it, I don't know, how to size a reboiler for a distillation column, or, you know, and like I messaged you this about this, Sean, like this 20 CV. Oh, I'm feeling it right now. Holy shit. This 20 CV 940 and this M390 Para 3 this is definitely harder than this. I think this is around 59 HRC, whereas this is around 61. And I felt like there's almost more carbide volume in the Benchmade here than this, based off the 3-finger test. And just like the why is that? Stuff like that, it just freaking intrigues me, and I just want to learn about it, I guess. I don't know. I'm just a nerd. And so I can talk about it too. In terms of the blind test on it, Sean, I thought about like attaching like a vice grip to it so I couldn't feel it, and having my wife hand them to me. Yeah, difficult to say without testing. I'm not going to say it's definitive or anything like that. But you know, and I know I asked some dumb questions out there, but it's just kind of how I learn. You know, like I'm totally down with somebody telling me like, no, you're wrong. Like that's totally fine. It's the way I prefer it. You know, I like to struggle really hard, come up with a solution, and then either get slapped in the face like, no, fuck you, that was wrong, or be right. But yeah, I was just so. And then for those that don't know, I was wondering if because this is softer 20 CV versus the harder 20 CV, I was wondering if possibly when they tempered this at what was likely a higher temperature, but I don't know. We don't know that. If they were precipitated out more chromium carbide and thus had more higher carbide volume. And I was looking at some of Laren's stuff. It seemed like the lower temperature. I've been wrong so many times. That's the thing. Like, so I just did I'll finish this thought. As if it had precipitated out more chromium carbides than was done in here, was what I was wondering. And we don't know that. And it's so hard to tell because this thing abrades so much slower than this that it might just take more time to reveal that same amount of working edge carbide. But it's hard to say. But that's what I was wondering about, because and then compare that to something like vanadium carbide, where it's much more stable at high temperatures. I would feel like the difference between, let's say, like these two being heat treated different would have a more similar carbide volume than to this type of steel with that high chromium carbide would be at the different hardnesses. But, and I'd kind of noticed the trend in Laren's stuff, how it seemed like the softer heat treats would have a little bit more, for chromium carbide bearing steels, would have a little bit more carbide volume. So I kind of latched onto that. But yeah, on the whole being more wrong than right, a big trend. I would have started this channel earlier. Oh my God. Actually, I had Murray Carter thin this thing out. I know you thinned out your S90 V1, and I don't know if you did that by hand, but you're a fucking savage. If you thinned out that S90 V940 by hand, that would be fucking wild. But I actually had Murray Carter thin this one out. I think it's 8 thousandths behind the edge or so. It's fucking thin. It's one of my best slicers. The only other slicer I have that's better is this Crew Aromatics 2 that I also had Murray Carter thin out. Although I'm not going to hate on Murray Carter. I actually really like Murray Carter. I think there's some beef there even between the two of you, maybe. I don't remember. But this is a Carter Cutlery original neck knife model. And this is one of the apprentice knives, so he didn't make this one. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. But great knife there. But I'm not hating on anybody or anything. But I do wonder a little bit if these things were not as cool as they should have been when they were being thinned out. They still both test well in edge retention testing on cardboard. Oh, dude, I'm going to be effed up. My wife's going to be pissed if she's awake when I come in there. Yeah. Dude, I really like low grit stones. Like, for the longest time, my sharpening progression, King Neo, that's it. 1 micron strop, and I love that shit. The King Neo cuts so fast for an 800 grit stone, and it finishes so nice for an 800 grit stone, so muddy. But these are the 100% Veneve stones. This 240 has cut way faster than I thought it was going to, and I've been loving it. Like, so I bought these Veneve stones to upgrade my diamond game from DMTs, which I know are your favorite, Sean, because this was the nicest diamond abrasive I had here. It was this DMT fine. Other than I had a 1x6, one of these Veneves in the 25%, but I've got the full progression, 240, 400, 800, 1200. The 240 is by far my favorite right now. I freaking love that thing. Honestly, I don't see that much benefit from the 800, 1200. And I'm sure everybody's seen the comments from Turing. Yeah, Simple Rick. Yeah. Yep, that's fucking right. I love that shit. I love the 1 stone progressions. It's the best. I agree. Like, I didn't buy these. Like, I had that tiny little 1x6 for a whole year because I used it and I was like, nope, like, I'm not interested. Way too slow. But the 240 was faster than I thought it was going to be. But I agree. Like, I think I'm probably gonna just like jizz my pants when I use that 400 vitrified stone. Like, I know there's not going to be any going back from that. I'm almost tempted to buy a 400 grit Chaucera, but I'm just kind of like, why? Like, I'd rather, yeah, good value, absolutely, and that's what I bought this for. Like, under $100 for 2 grits. of diamond, resin, bond, and stone, like fuck yeah. And yes, you are spoiled, you bastard. And you're freaking because you had these and you'd still use your naniwas too. I don't know how many times I sat trying to buy or thinking like with the naniwa diamond ones in my like cart on Amazon, just like I'm gonna buy it, and then I didn't. Probably a good deal that I held out on that and waited, but yeah, I took a weird route into where I am now, honestly. Like I'd say sharpening and cooking. Yeah, I can see that. Instead of being a bunch of freaking poles trying to figure this shit out and make a consistent product versus the naniwas and the Japanese having their shit together, especially naniwa. Yeah, that I could see that. Sean, do you ever flatten these or the naniwas with the silicon carbide powder? I've just been using an 800 grit Nagura on these like the whole time. I don't know if that makes a difference to get rid of the loading. But fuck, I don't know where I was going with this. Oh yeah, weird route. But yeah, it's like the Leatherman took me to higher end pocket knives. And like I remember not really understanding even like sprint runs from Spyderco. It's like if anybody here remembers the CTS XHP exclusive from Knife Center on the Manix 2 lightweight, that's when I really started getting into the game of pocket knives. And I didn't even understand the concept of like sprints and exclusives back then. So if you can pinpoint that time, that's when I really started like getting into the game. I had no fucking money either at the time. A little bit more than before, but not a lot. I was in school, college then. But yeah, like having all these knives, and the more I learned about steel, the more I learned about stones, and a lot from you, honestly, Sean. And I don't even know when I finally latched on to like Knife Steel Nerds as well. But obviously that was a big thing. I have his book not out here, but I've read it cover to cover, sort of a thing. But from there, I'm probably more into sharpening than I am into knives. Like there's not a lot of knives that really like draw me in. Oh yeah, Michael Christie. See, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried as I use the Nagura, I feel like I'm noticing a slight change in performance, and there's an issue there. That's exactly what I'm wondering about. The bonding needs to be cut down. So the Nagura is softer than the binder. Usually I can see like this weird yellow green color when I use it though. But I feel like the cutting power is affected by just using the Nagura to do it. Any tricks to using the Kme? I always have trouble when it gets close to the knife handle. Seems to always be 1/8 inch section that never gets the same angle as the rest of the blade. Well, the heel of a blade will always be more annoying than the rest of it. I feel like that and the tip. A tip for the tip is old news. Yeah, right. Old news. So the number one tip I can give you to get to the heel of the blade is, so I've got a Spyderco here. Do you see that? How I've got the notch cut into it, the sharpening choil? That is the first thing I would do. I mostly like that for freehand so that when you sharpen at an angle, you don't have to go like 90 to the stone to get right up like butts to nuts to that ricasso there. Do I have any tips for that area? I just spend more time. I just spend more time back here at the heel of the blade just to make sure you get it the whole way, That's a lot of sharpening. Like if you get a bad result and you're consistent in your angle, it's because you didn't apex the edge and not spend enough time. So just make sure you spend enough time back there, probably is what I would tell you. Honestly, I wish I had something more for you. And I kind of use the same principle a little bit, but not as bad. If you're not careful, you can kind of cause an extra belly to go back up into your blade back here. But like when I sharpen a tip of a knife, I kind of imagine that there's like one atom right at the tippy tip of the blade. And when I sharpen it, I'm going to leave that one atom at the tippy tip on there. Like I'm sharpening all the way up to that last little atom, and I'm never going to touch the tippy tip. You know, leave it on there. And I kind of do the same principle for the heel back here. But just spend a little bit longer back here. Make sure that you're getting it fully apexed. Clamp it so the plunge is aligned with the orientation of the stone on the guide rod. Because you're saying clamp it so that the angle of the plunge is parallel to the jaw versus angled like that, right? I don't know. Because then if you clamp it with the ricasso parallel to this side here of the jaw, then your angle is going to be inconsistent heel to tip. But it'll honestly probably look nicer because most angles are fucking, not consistent heel to tip, and you'll probably have a more consistent edge. This is actually sharpened on the KME. I did all this sharpening. I sharpened this 10V PM2 and this, I got it in my pocket, my M4 PM2, and then my S35 VN PM2, which was my first like nice knife that wasn't G10 or wasn't FRN. I sharpened all of these on the KME because I was going to do like a test, like cutting through rope and like, drilling holes and stuff. And I was going to make a video out of it. And that was like a month and a half ago. And I just never did it because I never had time. And I just didn't do it. So that was kind of dumb. But yeah, the last edge I have on here is actually that KME edge. Clamp it so the plunge is aligned with the orientation of the stone on the guide rod. There you go. So yeah, what Sean is saying is that once you swing over, like, because now the stone holder isn't parallel to the jaws anymore. Like the angle of your plunge, should be parallel to that. Yeah, that'll help you get in there. Otherwise, what you'll get, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on this M390 Para 3. You definitely cannot see this. There's like a cut mark from the stone hitting it because it wasn't aligned as Sean suggests to do. I'm gonna have to text my wife and tell her I'm gonna be up a lot later than I was expecting, I think. Yeah. So I think Sean's on it. If you line that up, you'll get good access to it. You won't fuck up the rest of your knife. What angle do you use the KME at? Just leave the adjustment all the way down so I don't have to remember all the different angles for each knife. Do you think that's a bad idea? No, because then you get the thinnest angle on every knife. That's probably a good deal. For me, what angle? I use, it's steel dependent. And it's steel and knife dependent. So like as an example, trying to think. So like here's LC200N. 200N, I don't feel inclined to do. I do have an angle cube. I never use it. I just use my phone. But LC200N, I don't feel inclined to put like a 12 degree per edge side on, or a 12 degree angle on this, because it's probably going to roll in my use anyways. So I'm not going to go to the lowest angle. So that right there is a reason to not just leave it at the lowest angle, depending on the steel that you're using. And then also is you have to frickin' reprofile like every goddamn knife, and it takes a goddamn forever to do it. It takes so long. It's awful how long it takes to I literally learned freehanding because the KME was too slow. There you go, Sean. So there's that. It was taking too long on the KME, so that's why I learned freehand. That's the first freehand setup I had was one of those like Work Sharp guided pivot response dealers. And then the first water stone I ever bought is one I'm giving away today, which I should probably get into. And that's the Suehiro Rika 5K here. She's been used and abused, and she's got like cracks in it or chips and stuff. But the stone itself is totally kosher, totally fine. Fuck, my train of thought is just all over the place right now. Yes. All right, let's finish this guy off. Okay, and let's text the wife. Let's make sure we do that right now. Okay. Going to longer than. Okay, I got that out of the way. Okay, let's cover this giveaway before it gets too long. I'm gonna have to put out a separate video after this one. I was hoping to do this early on, but I kind of forgot. So giveaway. Okay, so thank you everybody for getting it. I need one more beer. I'll go grab another one. I'm gonna have to piss pretty soon. Giveaway, lots of high-end items here. This is a King Deluxe 1K stone that I'll be giving away. I'll do the details in a second. I just took a drunken chip out of the corner of the Suehiro Rika 5K. So that's the other one, Rika 5K. I perma-soaked this thing and it didn't like it like that much. So it does have a few little chips in the edge, but it is totally fine. Got some schmutz on it, but it's good to go. Very muddy stone, not my preference. And just overall, not really the point. Next thing is the sexy Victorinox jetsetter. So it's got those awesome scissors and the awesome Phillips driver that I love oh so much. That's all that's on there. So giving that away. And here's a Tojiro DP 120 millimeter petty. In VG10. Giving that thing away as well. So details of the giveaway is just leave a comment in this live stream or probably the upcoming video also that I guess. If you leave a comment in this video and in the upcoming live stream, then I'll count you in twice. So leave a comment and guess a number between 1 and 1,000. And then feel free to say which one of these or the order that you want them in. But I'll use a random number generator, and whoever's closest between 1 and 1,000, that's who will win first. So then if you prioritize your items, then I'll give you that. Otherwise, the priority of these is probably going to be in terms of cost. So will that be Rika? So Rika would be first, then the Tojiro, then the King, then the Victorinox. That'll be the order. Close enough. Do them in that order, unless you specify which one you want and what I've got left over. So yeah, comment in the video and we'll do that. And next weekend, so it'd be October 9th, then I'll do that and announce who wins. And you have to be a subscriber also, so be subscribed for that. And then I'll get in contact with you hopefully and send you your shit. So yeah. So I'll be right back. Go get another brewski. Oh Jesus. Another Stella. It's the last one in the garage fridge. So this is it. Got the Nipex XS here. Oh, fuck. I've done this before, I swear. Actually worked really slick. Okay, this isn't going to work. I'm sorry. I'm too intoxicated for this. I don't know. I'm just embarrassing myself now. We'll use a good old trusty Skeletool. She doesn't fail us. Unless we're too intoxicated for that. Another trusty old Stella. I actually really like Blue Moon also. Oh, I don't have any Blue Moon left. Does the Rika have a good polish? It's okay. Honestly, it's not the best polishing stone. I'd say it gives a true 5K edge, but not in terms of the finish. It's not a polisher. Comment in the video live chat or when it posts a video. Do you think? But I mean, it'll polish. It'll give you a super even, like nice finish, but mirrory even. It's been a long time since I've used it, honestly. Like it'll give you an edge that'll draw your eye and say, "Hey, that looks attractive." But I'd say it's more hazy than it is bright. I don't know. Your thoughts, Sean? It's, like I said, it's been a while since I've used it, honestly. Hammer that beer. Yeah. If I see the numbers in the live chat or the comments, because I can look at the live chat after the fact. So 6 one way, half dozen the other. Here's something I wanted to briefly. So as you probably noticed with all this crap laying out here, I pretty much I buy the production knives at the most part. That's where I'm at in life. And even though they're sprints and exclusives, but I mean they're still a production knife. When I come across a production knife that's just executed like perfectly by random chance, then to me that's like a keeper. I don't sell those knives because I know that I've got something that's a little bit above average. I took a drink. Do another. I'm gonna need my wife to drag me up the stairs. Just a little sip. But anyways, when I come across a knife that's really well executed from the factory, I'm just like, I got to keep it. So this, what is it? Knifeware? Is that right? Knifeware? The guys that are like in Louisiana or Alabama or something, exclusive M4 and carbon fiber PM2 is one of those. Like absolutely no side to side, absolutely no up and down, perfect drop shut action. Everything looks kosher. It's got that nice, semi-nice. I don't actually love that carbon fiber. Knife works. Thank you. Yes. Sean, I've seen how toasted you get on your live streams. I don't know if that's what I'm aspiring to. Maybe I'm already there. Yes. But this one is really well done. Like perfect fit up. Like in this matchup here, and it's perfectly executed. So that's a keeper. I've got it. This Mannix 2 from the Knife Center in Crewwear as another one of those just perfectly executed blades. That's another one of those keepers. One more is a pair of 3 here in Rex 45. This is a cutlery shop exclusive with that orange handle that I tried to Rit dye with black, the orange side. And you can see it just turned into some weird shit color. I kind of like it actually. It used to be bright orange, and that's just not my style. So I kind of like this weird dull orange black thing going on. Another perfectly executed knife right there. So I wanted to mention that when you come across a great production knife and you live in the world of production knives, keep that thing, man. The Kasumi polish. Yeah. Right. I mean, especially, I feel like muddy stones especially really do that Kasumi. You're doing good, champ. I actually do have a Microtech. Here it is right here, baby. Everybody was telling me how thin behind the edge these babies are. And they are, but one night I was trying to rip out an edge on this thing on a DMT course. And all of a sudden that boy got wide on me. I don't know if you can see this, that edge. I mean, I don't think the camera does it justice, but I'm so used to seeing all these micro bevels on these freaking Microtechs, and mine ain't no micro bevel. I'll tell you that much right now. This one's in XHP, LUDT and XHP. I didn't want them in the, yeah, they are. Yeah, it's a good knife. But yeah, so then I threw it on the Kme because I was like, man, I just had bad angle control and I fucked it up. But no. Yeah, it's That edge looks way wider, that bevel, than it really needs to be. I don't remember the angle to sharpen this at. It's a lot higher than I thought it would be for this to look like this. I mean, so many people are like, oh yeah, it's like 10 thousandths behind the edge at freaking 13 degrees per side. Not this particular one. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Fires hard. It actually did develop a little bit up and down blade play at one point. Yeah, right. Best steel for a custom. It depends on what I was looking for, but 4 or 15V probably, you know. And hard as piss for either direction. If I was going to buy a custom, that's definitely what I would do. The question is, what would it be for? Would it be an EDC blade, a hunting blade, or a kitchen? Honestly, I would probably buy a custom kitchen knife before I bought anything else at this point in my life, which is not what I would have said maybe even a year ago, probably. Probably not. Yeah, a year ago, I wouldn't have said that. But right now, I'm really into cooking right now. And it's funny. I got into cooking because I got into pocket knives, which then got me into sharpening, which then made me realize that most of the knives that factories make have shitty geometry and aren't that great to sharpen. So then I got into kitchen knives because they have better geometry. And then to justify me having all those kitchen knives, I got into cooking, and now I'm very into cooking. So isn't that fucking weird as shit? Excuse me. But yeah, I'd probably buy a custom kitchen knife before I bought anything else right now. I wish I could say a hunting knife, but I don't hunt as much as I used to. I just don't have the time for it. Otherwise, that would definitely be the thing, I think. Now, I worked as my previous. Okay, hold on. Let's read some of these comments. You need a mic. So best deal for the custom. I answered that. Maybe a Magna Cut over 4V. I need to get some Magna Cut in my hands to decide because, I mean, you're not really seeing Magna Cut as hard as 4V. But I mean, in the custom, they'd be right there. Although 4V is still beating a little bit in edge retention, but I don't think it would matter. So here's a question I can ask it directly. Sharpening Magna Cut, what is it like? Is it like, yep, I'm sharpening Cruwear? Is it like I'm sharpening 4V? Sharpening Magna Cut, what's it like? That's the question. So it might be Magna Cut or 15V. That would probably be the answer. And if it was a kitchen knife, I'd be very tempted to go Magna Cut just for the stainlessness, just because of where I'm at in life right now. Where the fuck the LVT? There it is. I agree. This thing is this area right here is just like an egregious sin. Like there's not enough room for my hand in like this kind of a grip. Like my pinky like doesn't have anywhere to go. So it works just fine in this big ass grip here. And I actually choke up on it a lot like that. When I do use it, but I don't carry it that much actually, because I'm one of those weird people that values. Okay, so does sharpen like Cruwear 4V? Okay, I'd probably choose Magna Cut then, honestly. If I would be Magna Cut in a kitchen knife, and for that kitchen knife, it would either be in like a 10-inch, either more flat profiled chef knife or a shorter like 180 millimeter bunka sort of style. It'd be one of those two in Magna Cut probably. If I got a custom right now, it's probably what I would do. I don't remember what I was talking about. It's close. It's close to having a great handle, but it's just not like quite there. It's got some nice comfort things. I like how big and fat it is up here, and it like tapers. It's kind of a nice detail. It's pretty comfortable in the hand, but it's not great. You think this needs a choil? It's got lots of space back here. I think it could be you know, when I'm actually looking at it, it's ground pretty good down to that choil. There's plenty of space back there. I don't think this needs a choil. Oh, a finger choil. I was thinking sharpening choil. Yes, it needs a finger choil or something. It's just so too much. I like my finger to be close to the edge of the blade. The heel of the blade, rather. Yeah. Custom Japanese or European style? I kind of answered that. More Japanese, like cutting profile. And I mentioned earlier the whole. Oh, you were there, so you know the whole. I've been using a lot of German style cutlery these days just because it works better for, you know, my wife and everything. Being around and not. She like knows and like kind of tries but doesn't fully respect it. Well, her knife is a Richmond Artifacts 2 in CTS BD1N at 63 Rockwell. And I'm amazed at how well that steel holds up. It's like, will you answer that? Is it that CTS BD1N holds up amazingly well, but it's thick with freaking 2 C's. I thinned it out by hand and it was pretty awful. I bought a 1x30 grinder from frickin' Harbor Freight. It's sitting up there because I had to clean off this bench recently, but to at least refinish it so it doesn't look like straight hell. But yeah, that knife has held up really well to her abuse, so that's good, I guess. What's the best way to make a choil on a knife that does not have one? I use a round file. You know, I go for fucking broke and I use a goddamn Dremel tool. Strong work. Are you referring to the thinning of mono steel? That's 63 Rockwell. It sucks. Like, I don't understand. Unagi, but yeah, that would go super well. It'd be rusty and also wildly chipped. But man, I just don't see how anybody can grind anything not wet grinding it. Like I can't move steel without heating it up. Like even so, fuck. I have a Wusthof icon, so that just goes to show where I spend my stupid ass money, right? Oh, geez, talking shit. The Wusthof icon. I actually really like the knife, but I cut part of the butt of the knife off to adjust to the balance forward because it's just ass heavy and it's not that great in terms of that aspect. And that kind of sucked. It took a long time. I didn't want to heat it up too much. It's not, yeah, right. I mean, if you enjoy it, right? That's the thing. Does it work? That's always my thing. Like a lot of people comment is, you know, this is what I do or whatever. It's like, if it works for you, then that's what matters. And it does. That's where I'm at in life. It works just fine. Well, it works better than fine. I like it a lot. Yeah, I like the Dremel. Honestly, it probably, how fast can you chug a beer? Well, if I could add a hole in the bottom, that would help it, but honestly, not that fast. So I know, Sean, I'm sorry. You know what? Okay, is this fair to say? I love the Japanese stuff and everything about that. Okay, I just right now in my life, I live with the German stuff and I like it enough where it just like gets me through my cooking. Like I like it for cooking. Like when I sit and like prep chili, that's when I get my Japanese blade out because I can sit and enjoy that. But when I'm like forgot to thaw out the sausage and shit before I'm making some, I don't know, like biscuits and gravy in the morning and like I'm trying to get it done before everybody wakes up. Like I just use the German knives and they're just working for me right now. Cause like, and you know, I've got a Tojiro DP Santoku 170 millimeter and I've got it 15 degrees per side right now. And so far the edge has been holding up good, but I've exploded that edge like more than once. Yeah, the beater knives. I've blown up the edge on that on that Tojiro more than once. Like just fucking like going to town. I don't cut frozen shit with that. What's the go-to cooking dish these days? So I've been cooking a lot with stainless recently. Oh, what we're eating or the cookware? What we're eating is almost everything I make is basically some sort of like rapid pasta recipe, be it like homemade mac and cheese or Alfredo or carbonara or some shit like that. Some variation of that, like depending on like what I have to emulsify the sauce and the cheese I have to go along with it and the meat, like that dictates the pasta dish that turns out basically. But cookware, that's something I've been spending money on also recently. I've been cooking a lot with stainless. Yeah, don't eat that. Yeah. And I think I've been liking it because it's so responsive and you can get good browning and fond on it. But I feel like I need something with more like browning gusto than stainless. And I really like cooking with big ass pans because you can reduce really quick on them. I've got this giant ass 14-inch cast iron that my mother-in-law gave me that I actually really do like, but it just takes so much longer to preheat. Maybe not that long, but it takes longer. But I think I'm going to switch over to that a little bit more than the 12-inch stainless, tri-ply that I've been using. It's a Tramontina. It's not all clad, but it's pretty decent. I think it's a decent brand. Try to support my local business, and all clad doesn't sell to them anymore. Not a carbon steel pan. The thing with the carbon steel pans for me, I actually just shot a video. Like I looked up like the engineering, like physical properties, like the thermal conductivity and heat capacity, and then like weighed the pans and shit to figure out like how much like energy they hold and everything like that. And the thing with the carbon steel for me is I just don't see it having not a cast. Yeah. So yeah, carbon steel. Yeah. I just don't see it having that much better browning than a stainless pan because it just doesn't have that like thermal mass because it's so much thinner than a cast iron. It has the non-stickitude compared to the stainless, but I don't really have that much issue with non-stick on stainless unless I'm cooking something that does. And like I don't cook eggs, in there or anything. Although my wife cooked a batch of eggs in my 12-inch stainless pan, and that was a fucking like war zone. After that was a mess, and she didn't even realize that she had just like made a giant pain in the ass for me to clean up later because I kind of do the dishes in the house. Yeah, I don't think you can get a better sear than on cast iron. I mean, the carbon steel I think makes a lot of sense. I do. If you're looking for a more versatile pan than stainless, other than dealing with acidic ingredients, but I don't know. I will try it one day, but it's down on my list right now. Biggest benefits of carbon is basically you get the responsiveness of stainless being like when you turn the heat up, it goes up. When you turn it down, it goes down. It's quick to preheat, and it's much more non-stick when it's properly seasoned than stainless. And you still get like good browning out of it. And you get decent fond development versus like a non-stick pan where your fond development is going to be like pretty weak. And I'm not an expert on cooking or cookware, like I'm like very new into this. You would like Matfre Barget? Is that how you pronounce that? I probably butchered that, and I don't know what that is. I'll get my phone out over here. Dude, I got to take a piss like bad. Oh, got a text message. Oh, okay. Is that what you cook with the most? What size? Do you like big pans or small pans, or do you kind of just match the pan to the job? I do a lot of reducing of liquids, so I'm like always using a big pan. Oh, fuck, where'd that go? And Sean, you can chime in if I didn't answer the benefits of carbon steel well enough. It's basically stainless while being non-stick. That's the way I see it. Matfre ER. Okay, there it is. All righty. Okay, so now I've got that mat for pulled up on my phone so I can look at that later. 14-inch, exactly. Yeah, I fucking love working with big ass pans, man. It's the best. And now you're cooking for 3. Although I'm sure your daughter doesn't eat solids yet. That's so fun though. That's awesome. Congrats. I hope the family's doing well. I forgot to say that earlier. Yeah, because I have a 4-year-old. He just turned 4, and then I've got a 3-month-old he's gonna be 3 months in like 4 days or so. Yeah, family's fun. It makes cooking more fun when you're cooking for family. Although my freaking 4-year-old is like pickier about food than he's like ever been his whole life, so that's really annoying. But life goes on. Thank God it's the weekend, huh? Fuck. Yeah, I was thinking about making a video because I made that like pan material from like a engineer's perspective video, and that's not going to come out for like forever. But I do like guns. Yeah, probably won't be doing any firearms content just because it's like so much lower than like everything else. But I was like big into guns. Like throughout all of high school and the first few years of college, like pretty much any expendable funds I had. All right. Well, if you're taking off, see you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, really big into guns. Like all my money went to guns. Sorry you have to work on Sunday, but enjoy. I really appreciate you stopping by. Excuse me. So yeah, the guns that I have, well, it depends. It does cost a lot of fucking money and like ammo these days. And then like, yeah, Hickok 45 back in the day. Oh yeah, nothing fancy again. That sort of shit. The first gun I ever bought was a Marlin 795. It was a 22 caliber like auto loader, and I bought it for $100 from Cabela's. And that was based off of a Nothing Fancy review, and I shot the shit out of that thing. Like it literally does not work anymore. Like it's done. But yeah, the guns, I kind of devolved into a practical standpoint. I did a lot of like shooting clays. So I have like a very beautiful, nice, like Caesar Guerini over under Italian shotgun. I've got like 10,000 rounds through that baby. I've got a Benelli Vinci, just the Vinci, not the Super Vinci, that I've probably got like 2,000, 3,000 rounds through for like duck hunting and upland game and stuff. In terms of more serious firearms, the only AR-15 I have is actually a SIG. What is it called? Is the 516 the piston gun that SIG did? I don't know if they still sell them. Yeah, I know. They're just so expensive, and I just don't have the time to shoot, and the freaking ammo is so expensive. Like 223, like, oh my God. Like I did shoot a lot more 9mm. Like, and actually when I was growing up, I grew up like out of town, so I could shoot like at my parents' house when I was younger. So like every day I would shoot, but like now that I have moved away and live in town, it's so much more difficult to just like do. So I just don't really. Yeah, my SIG, I think it's a 516. Yeah, it shoots sub MOA if you use decent ammo. So it's a good gun. It's heavy as hell. I put a carbon fiber rail on it to kind of extend it out instead of the standard like heavy ass quad that was on it. I've got an Aimpoint Pro on the top that I really like. Once again, pretty heavy, but the micros are just so fucking expensive. My carry guns are a Glock 19 and a Glock 43. I don't carry as much as I used to. I used to carry all the time, but I don't anymore. And like COVID and fatherhood has really got this like beer gut going pretty hard, except for it's not from beer. It's just, I just like to eat food. And like now that I cook more, I like to eat the food that I cook, and I eat yeah, that makes sense. So it's just like worse. 50 yard zero on 223. Because it's on at 50 and on at about 200. And for the red dot, I think that's a pretty good way to roll. And then it's pretty easy to remember the offsets up front. And then what is it like? Yeah, same, exactly. I like it. I think it's the way to go. I've only shot that zero out to like 300, but honestly, it's been so many years since I shot out that far with that zero, like I don't even remember the holdover for that gun. And at that time, I had like a shit ton of that 62 grain steel core stuff. That what is it called? So I think that's what I had it zeroed for at that 5200, not even 55 grain, which is what I have like now. But I know I've re-zeroed it to the 55 grain, but I don't even think I've shot it past 200 with that load. There you go, M855. Thank you. But yeah, that's definitely my preferred there. But yeah, like Glocks, by the way, the M and P9 shield, like for its size, it shoots amazing. Like I shot that shield better than I did my Glock 19, hands down. And like, so I don't know if any of you guys remember like James Yeager's old content, but I was a pretty big follower of that. It's all seemed pretty practical to me and worked out. Man doesn't like firearms and knives. Yeah, right. And if he doesn't, like, he's clearly not practical enough to understand life. 193. That's that's a military load. I think that's what I've been normally buying, like what you get in like the bulk ass packs. Like I haven't been buying any like Hornady VMAX or anything. Yeah, a lot of the James Yeager stuff. So like I've tried out like the big dot sights, and I do like the big dots. I've shot targets at like 100 yards using big dot XS sights. Right now I actually switched over to Trijicon HDs with the orange front and then blacked out back, but then their night sights front and back. That's kind of what I'm running these days with the U-notch rear. I don't remember if I've got the wider separation or the skinnier. It's actually different between my G19 and my G43 though. One of them's got the skinnier, the thinner rear, and this is the thinner front. It's a thinner front. I don't remember which one is which though. Which goes to show how long it's been since I've freaking shot those guns. It's probably been a year, honestly, since I've smelled burnt powder, which is a shame. There's nothing like the smell of burnt shotgun powder, just throwing that out there. That is like the creme de la creme. Like I've shot tens of thousands of clays in my young day. That is just hits for me so hard. Yeah, I bought a 6.5 Creedmoor semi recently, but I haven't even gotten out to shoot it yet, which is like such a foreign concept to me. I need better glass for it. I just threw on my spare Nikon P223 scope on it, and I'm worried it won't even hold zero, even on a 6.5 Creedmoor, like with the recoil. It's like an okay scope, but it's really not a good scope. So I need better glass. I've been looking at the Vortex stuff. I almost bought like a super nice like Viper whatever a few months ago, but I was just like, I'm not going to drop a $1,000 on glass right now when I haven't even shot the damn thing out of gun stuff. Yeah. I don't know what staccato is, but yeah, I've been out of the gun. Honestly, the sharpening and knives has taken over because like I kind of said earlier, like I gravitate to things that I can like do at home by myself that are very deep and like you can develop the skill. Since I live in town and I don't have the time to go to the range, like I don't do the guns that much anymore. And it's just kind of like I'll do dry fire every once in a while for when I feel like carrying so that I'm like a little bit sharp, but not a whole lot. Not a lot. Yeah. I've been like so super deep into it before, but I've kind of backed off for sure. Definitely losing some people's interest here. And it's getting fucking late. But yeah, that's kind of where the guns are at right now. I had a beautiful. I know they do. I'm a sick puppy. They want me and I want them, you know? It's just like it's a very circular bad relationship, but I just love it too much, so I don't even care. Yeah, exactly. Can't play with the rifle at desk. I bring my knife into work. I've been carrying the crew wear a lot lately. This is what I've been doing for the most part. What else have I been carrying a lot? Honestly, I gave LC200N like a fucking good run, and I actually really enjoyed this. Like I bought this knife because LC200N is so nice to sharpen. That's why I bought it. Straight up. Just the nicest sharpening stainless I've come across. I bought it just for that. Like I like having a knife where I could like fucking cut shingles and then stab this into the dirt and I don't even care. So I can just sharpen it so easy. Like it doesn't even matter. I freaking love this knife. Actually, I really like the Native 5, and because I carried it to like the lake and shit. Like this is like my favorite travel knife, even though it's like pink. Because I tried to writ dye the yellow scales. And the only writ dye I had at home was you can see I'm not very good at the writ dye thing between the two knives I've showed you. It was like cherry red, and this I got like coral color or pink. It's kind of tropical though. Sharp my K390 Police 4. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of meat to move on the KME, brother. Have fun, man. I'm sure it'll turn out sick. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, like I brought this to Charleston, South Carolina when we went there. That was like the first fucking vacation we went on in like a million years. It was like our honeymoon. I brought this there, and I brought this to a few lakes here nearby. Night, man. And obviously a lake isn't like salt water, so it's not like challenging it. But Charleston, I mean, we were in the Atlantic, so that was salt water. It's done totally fine. Whole knife, you know, the internals too. It's done great. Really like LC200N. It's grown on me. I'm surprised by the working edge it'll take because it has like basically no carbide volume. I really like this knife. And that MXG Gear deep carry clip I've been enjoying too. Don't really enjoy the color, but you know, fuck it. You know, cool men wear pink or whatever those shirts say. Ugh. Really like the crew wear. How could you not like crew wear? It's fun to sharpen. Also, it's like for me, it's the best sharpening, edge retaining steel. You know, like if you're looking for a steel that will hold its edge because it's on the harder side and not that Spyderco does its crew wear that hard. At least not in the recent runs, I feel like. But as far as a steel that will hold its edge longer and is a little bit harder, it's like the best sharpening shit, the crew wear. So that's why I very needlessly picked this pair of 3 up. Now I've got 3 of them. If I showed them, yeah, I showed all of them: the M390, the Rex, and then the crew wear. Yeah, those are the knives I've been carrying a lot. Mostly this crew wear. I've gave this 20 CVA 940 to a good Rex. Isn't Rex badass? I did a video and I called it like Rex 45, like the best EDC steel. Because when I was waiting for where I moved to now, when I was waiting for this job to start, I had this baby, this Native 5 here in Rex 45. And as I said earlier, like I used this 10V at 15 degrees per side and I rolled it, which surprised me. I was expecting a chip, but I rolled it. So then, you know, I didn't feel like sharpening it. So I moved on to this Rex 45 and holy fuck, this shit is stable as hell. Like I know Laren found it to not be very tough, but like that's the thing with toughness, man, is it might not be tough, but it could be strong. And I feel like that's where this is at for me. Like this shit, it won't chip for me. It won't roll. The edge lasts a long time. It doesn't have great carbide volume, but like it like does the job when I ask it to, and it doesn't fail. Like this, ooh, this is a great fucking knife. Yeah, Rex crazy. How could you not? They were freaking throwing Rex 45 at us like it was going out of fucking style. Right, toughness isn't the same as stability, you know, and that's the thing is like I think everybody's disappointed by the Rex toughness numbers, but like I was like, you know, I'm glad that I've like used this steel enough to know that I don't really care that it's not that tough because I've never, well, that's not true. I've chipped this blade. I've chipped this one, but I haven't really exceeded its level of toughness, and its strength just like pays out dividends like no freaking other. I love this Rex 45 that Spyderco did. That's why I've got 2 of them. I'm like tempted to piss in this garbage can, but like I gotta go pee. So I'm gonna be back in like 2 minutes. Otherwise, I'm gonna like die. If you guys are all gone, I understand, but I'm gonna be back. That was divine. Just absolutely divine. Words can't even describe. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, how do you like the Millie? Where's my Millie? Here's mine. Another Knifeware exclusive in 204p. I really like it and also dislike it at the same time. This is another one of those knives that's like really well executed, so I'm not going to get rid of it. I bought it used for $120. That was pretty badass. It's very classic Spyderco, like M390 204p. Like same thing with this, where it's a pretty decent heat treat on it, dude. When I was walking, man, I was like, oh god. That's the problem with sitting when I'm fucking drinking. I don't realize how far gone I am. Also, I just feel like throwing this in there. A shout out. Like, here's in my GEC. I don't know the number, but it's the TDU like Pocket Congress. Love this knife. Carbon steel. Just want to throw it out there. I like the 2-blade concept on softer steel knives because I kind of keep one sharp, one dull sort of a deal. So this is my sharp knife, is this little guy right there. And this is my kind of let it dull knife here. This is like what I bring to weddings. This is like saved the day so many times. This little GEC here. So I really like that. I want to do a shout out to the simpler things in life, you know. Excuse me. I don't remember if I was rambling on about, oh yeah, Rex 45. Just that Rex 45 is great, which makes me think of like how amazing like a good HAP 40 would be in a kitchen knife. Like that just kind of makes me like tingly down under, if you feel me. But that same thing, if I curl the edge, how much will the edge degrade is kind of what keeps me back. Also, I haven't seen any HAP 40 that like here, Sean, what do you think about Kohetsu HAP 40? I feel like some of those Kohetsu knives, the geometry is kind of so-so. That doesn't like kill me because I feel like I'd be pretty easy to thin because it's clad. Like all knives will benefit from because I can thin it out pretty easy. It's big, but intended uses around. You know, I'm right there with you, brother, man. I have 3 PM2s, but I more bought them for the steel than anything. But I think for me, I like the Para 3 the most. For whatever reason, I actually like a really short blade for a work knife. And the rounding on the handles, which I never thought looked very substantial, makes the Para 3 the most comfortable in my hand when I'm like getting after it. And then the milli is like the next best. And then also like how badass is that? It's such a sick work knife. It just is like fuck. And like I like that the tip down on it because it's like you just bust it out, whip it down. You just like ready for hammer time. And then the PM2 is it's the worst of the bunch, but I just love me this 10V PM2, bro. Sukanari, good geometry, can be thinner too. I like the option to where I can tune it myself. Like I'd like it to be like right there, where it's close but not all the way. I really like the Kiritsuke shape too, especially for like prepping like chili is like the classic example in my house here. But like when you got that flat profile and you come down on it, like it doesn't like push the vegetables away. And then what they call it, the K-tip or whatever. But like if you're like cutting up potatoes and you use that just like thin freaking K-tip and then they don't stick and they just stay there on the board, like that's just so clutch. I'm all about that K-tip life. Even like a Santoku is like better. Any downturned tip for that matter. Like I fucking hate that about German and like just that style of knives. Like why can't they figure out the downturned tip? Like even a Gyuto has a better downturned tip than like any chef's knife ever. Like figure your shit out, like fucking Germany, like Jesus Christ. And then you get a nice thin tip that's easy to get board contact on. Like who is like rock chopping and going like 90 degrees to the board? Like nobody's doing that. Like stop with the super like flat spined inline tip shit. That's just stupid. And that's coming from somebody who uses German cutlery too. Like that says a lot. But yeah. That's what the milli is for. It's like I literally keep it. It's like basically my work knife. Although I think it benefits from gloves still. The milli. On that kind of note of a work knife, I like the natives. Are honestly probably my favorite work knife. The natives. I like the Para 3s. But the milli is like the big work knife. On a kind of a goofy interaction that happened is like the Manix 2. Good knife. They come pretty thick from the factory, as do a lot of Spydercos, but they're even thicker than the Paras, I feel like. And it's got this like, big ass beefy handle, the full liners and shit. And I had it thinned down to this sexy cutting thin grind on it, like 8 thousandths behind the edge at 12 degrees per side. And now I've got like this, I'm not going to call it fragile blade, but like this blade that I'm a little bit more concerned about in this like robust heavy duty handle. It's kind of an awkward combination. So hindsight 2020, that maybe wasn't the best like matchup, but I just felt like Cruaire deserved a sexy grind, like something that's tough enough and hard enough to like take it kind of a thing. Like it just like deserved it. So in that sense, I don't regret it. Because this was like a knife that deserved it. Whereas, because these are the two knives I've had thinned out. And this 940, it didn't deserve it, but it fucking needed it. This thing was like I couldn't even like look at it. It was so thick. It was like, it was pushing 30 thou behind the edge when I got this thing thinned out. Like that was just like nasty. Couldn't do it. I've got all these blades sitting out. I don't even know what my plan was. I got some Leathermans. I wasn't sure if I'd have mostly the sharpening. Oh my God, it's so thick. It is so thick. Yeah, like put like 5 C's behind that, bro. Like it is nasty. And like I've got, I don't even think I've got it down here. Like the Crooked River, the mini Crooked River I used to test that S30AV. And just the name of science. And I know I messaged you, Sean, and I felt like I kind of pissed you off maybe. Because I know you kind of get tired of people being like, oh, like it works for me, Illumina or whatever, this, that, and the other thing. Like fucking stop, right? Like just use diamonds, okay? Like I totally agree. But like in the name of science, I just wanted to know the difference, like quantify it as much as I could between Illumina belt abrasive. So I'm testing 2 things, Illumina abrasives, and I'm testing belt, but whatever. Versus diamonds on S30V. But yeah, dude, that Crooked River is like, the handle is amazing. It's so comfy. I think it looks very attractive. It's a sweet knife, but it's 27 thou behind the edge, and I just like can't enjoy it. And it's an S30V, which is fine, but and it's a custom one, and I got it in S30V, so please judge me. But I'm gonna send it in and have them switch it out to S90, and then that's gonna be me fucking around with S90 for the first time. It's gonna be in that mini Crooked River. So I'm looking forward to that. Even though I don't know, I'm kind of hit and miss. But like, this is another custom Benchmade that my wife got me many years ago when we were still dating. We weren't even like, we were just like dating a boyfriend girlfriend. And it's a mini barrage, and she got it in like the plastic handles and the 154 cm, and that was a sweet knife. That was definitely my favorite knife for a long time. And then I sent it in because it needed some work, and I got it in M4 and then these nice G10 handles. And this is a great blade. It's heavy for its size, but it's like such a comfortable, robust handle. And for Benchmade, a pretty thinly ground blade. It's about the same as a bug out. So I mean, you take that for what it's worth. And I like the blade shape. The mini barrage is a sleeper in their freaking line. Yeah, and here's the bug out, which is a knife that I really like. It's a good design. Geometry always can be better, but you know, it's kind of like the Glock of knives to me, where it's like some people worried that like Glocks are gonna have issues because they're plastic, and the same thing with the bug out. But I'm like, go ahead, try to find a SIG 226 with over 20,000 rounds in it. Try to find a Beretta 92A1 with over 20,000 or 30,000 rounds in it. You're not going to. All the frames are going to be cracked. Do you know what you are going to find? You're going to find Glocks with over 100,000 rounds in it, because the plastic bends and it moves, but it ain't going to break. It always comes back. So like, to people who, you know, piss and moan and cry whatever about the plastic fucking handles on the barrage not being strong enough, like, poo-poo on you. Like, just shut the fuck up. I think it's stupid as hell. I've seen so many more broken S110V blades than frickin', you know, broken bug outs. I've never seen a broken bug out. Even people that try. Like, Super Steel Steve is the only person I've ever seen break these plastic handles in that whatever it was. What do you call those? Those Tonto blades. You know what I'm talking about. Bailout. That 3V bailout. Yeah, I don't have everything else in here is Swiss Army knives and some Nippics. You know. I'll put those off to the side. Although here's kind of an interesting thing. Can you see the? I don't know if you can see the front of that buck. I bought my first Buck 110, and it came in this like tin, and it's what I use to just throw all my like knives in and stuff. That's my knife storage is just, it spilleth over quite a bit, and I've got most of my folders, nice folders, laid out here. But yeah, already talked about the giveaway. What else is there? I don't know. What I'm playing around a lot with right now. I have an Instagram, if anybody doesn't know. I do not post much on there, so I'm sorry. But what I've been playing around a lot with is just kind of the difference between edge leading and edge trailing and finishing strokes. And even on, like Sean was saying, kind of the unevenness of these veneers. So for the 1200F, it's rated as a 2 to 3 micron on here. Even finishing on that, and Maximate is going to do it the most probably, but like edge leading on this guy, I can literally see the chips in the edge from that edge leading pass with this 120x microscope. Yeah, I can literally see like the chips in the edge. Excuse me. From it. So like, I'm just not super happy with these 800 and 1200F stones, honestly, at the moment. You know, jury is still out officially. They definitely brighten up your finish though. but you can definitely see those microchips in the edge on Maximate. What's another steel I've done it on? I've done it on some like German steel and stuff where you can kind of see the snurgliness in the edge. Not on this stone though, but more on like the like Spyderco fine stone, which is like 1200 or so, the white ceramic. You can kind of see the microchips in the edge a little bit compared to the edge trailing, but it's a microchipped edge, but it's a, for the most part, burr-free, clean edge. That's what I've been playing around with a lot lately. Another thing I noticed too is like, does Maximate do on the King Neo? Oh yeah, I have a video sharpening it on the King Neo. King Neo definitely will move Maximate. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I think Maximate has a lot of those moly tungsten carbides, and the silicon carbide will take care of those pretty decently in Maximate. And it definitely handles the hard steel matrix too. King Neo actually does really well on Maximate. Yeah, I like if you're definitely got a dull edge on Maximate for fucking. I mean, that's a whole thing. It's nice to start on a lower grit stone first, like DMT coarse. This 200F is a little bit slow for it, but not awful, but a little bit slow. Definitely like starting on the coarser stone. But if it's not super dull, which is Maximate ever, then the King Neo, I've even done a one stone progression on it just off the King Neo. And like that's the nice thing about Maximate is it doesn't hold on to a burr real strong at all. It's really easy to deburr on those lower grit stones. So yeah, the King Neo totally does it, and it leaves a pretty nice edge. I feel like it's maybe not like the crispiest, but it's definitely refined that you can get off there. So I've done that many times. That was my go-to for Maximate. Actually, was the Neo for a long time. I've only sharpened this Maximate on these stones a few times. Just twice. I've done it twice. What else? What else have I been kind of, let's talk about the S30V test with the KME versus the Work Sharp. I shot the summary video of it 2 days ago, and it was 33 minutes long, and I didn't get to like the conclusion really until like the end. So I'm not going to post it. I've been super busy with work, and I just haven't gotten to getting it out. I need to do it really bad. Hopefully next week, and I'll just post it like at a random time. But I got to restructure the video. I don't want to make you wait 33 minutes to like get the answer that you want. I'll talk about it a little bit here. What the hell? I mean, if anybody watches this like 2 hours in, like they're fucking nuts. I don't know if Sean, if you're still watching, but I always watch your live streams all the way to the end, just so you know. But I started writing a report for the S30V testing, Work Sharp or KME versus Work Sharp. So that's this here, this whole thing, because I find that the writing really helps with like the clarity and kind of transferring the ideas that you want to in the video. So it's a really good step to do before. I haven't finished it yet. But anyways, I'll talk about this briefly. I've got it sitting here from the video. So this is what happened is the rope abrades very rapidly, like super. Yeah, I feel like you wait a few days to delete them, and I'm on them the next morning because like you're 2 hours behind me. I'm pretty sure you're 2 hours behind me. So like I don't catch them until the next day. I'm not a night owl. And then usually I can catch them that next day, but I always watch them right away because I'm afraid they'll take them down. So usually I think I catch most of them, but like who knows how many have I missed because you take them down too quick. Oh yeah, like I just did this in the name of science. I just wanted to know the difference, that the Work Sharp is going to be inferior, but basically what happened is the rope abrades them super quickly. And I think basically the result of that is I was testing the working edge more than anything else. And I think the difference between KME versus belt versus diamond versus alumina, you're really going to see that in like the upfront sharpness that I appreciate, but I don't think that test captured that like at all. And basically, statistically speaking, like actual statistics, not like averages and stuff, but like taking the average and then the standard deviation and then doing a student's t-test. So you use like a normal distribution curve sort of, but the student's t-test kind of changes it a little bit because you have less than an ideal number of samples, in my case 3 per test. Statistically speaking, there was no difference between KME and the work sharp. That said, what the statistically no difference means is a big fucking question if you're into statistics, which I wouldn't say I am, but they're good to know. And basically is you kind of just have to choose what means statistically different between A and B. And in engineering, the accepted value is like 5%. And then like in medical field, it's like 1%. And what that means is I can see I highlighted from this fucking video that I'm not even going to use. But I found that the difference between the two is there's basically a 15% chance, which is like this red colored in part of this distribution of like, if somebody took a test, like if you gave out a test to everybody at Walmart, this would be like the distribution of the scores, like this number of Fs, this number of Ds, Cs, Bs, and As is this part of the curve here, 15% of it. There's a 15% chance that by random dumb luck, all of the testing I did happened to be exactly the same. Meaning there's an 85% chance that there is actually a difference between KME and WorkSharp. So most people would reasonably say that 85% chance that there is a true benefit of the KME over the WorkSharp, which is what I found, would be that the WorkSharp or that the KME is better. Most people would interpret it that way. Fruit fly. And that's totally fair. But just like technically speaking, when I only did 3 of each, 6 total, that is possible. And like I'm used to calling like 5% chance being the cutoff. When I say nope, it's not like enough at that point. I have a hard time saying that there is a true benefit in working edge between the two. So statistically speaking, no, there isn't a difference. That's the background of it. I took 33 minutes to explain the video. Most of that time was spent talking about let me know if you can read this. That's the results right there. Fuck. You can see KME's on the top and WorkSharp's on the bottom. It is shaky as hell. You're gonna have to comment if you can see that or not. I can't. Okay, I can see your comments. Quite a bit of deviation. That was the first time I've done the rope instead of cardboard. Not ideal. It was a little bit of a struggle. I don't know how long is long enough. The standard deviation is, I think you can see it. I think I've got it labeled. I'm trying to cover it up and shit. Fuck. Okay, I'll say it out loud. Now that I've wasted a minute of your time. Okay. So I did the starting sharpness, then the 10 cut sharpness and 20 cuts on rope. It was 3/4 inch manila, and it was like 4 slices per cut because I couldn't get 7 to work out quite right for me. So I just did 4. So the starting sharpness for the KME on average was 101 with a 24 standard deviation. That's in grams best. Then the 20 cut was 285 with a 29 gram standard deviation, 29. The WorkSharp starting sharpness was 122 with a standard deviation of 3, so small. And then the 20 cut was 315 with a standard deviation of 24. So I'll repeat the end sharpness for the KME, 285, 29 standard deviation. Work sharp, 315, 24 standard deviation. So theoretically, at those numbers, if the work sharp is at its like lower score and the KME is at its higher score, definitely overlap. And then using like actual statistics, as I explained, based off of those numbers, that technically there is no statistical difference, the 15% thing and all that shit. And I really think it was weird too, because I definitely noticed a big difference in like the blunting of the blade. The work sharp edges seemed way more prone to blunting, but I was still getting the scores I was getting. And I was taking about 3 to 5 scores per sharpness test. And I was kind of testing the different points of the blade to kind of get like a holistic average. And I mean, it looked visually blunter, but the scores were what the scores were. So I don't know. My conclusion is that I was testing working edge and that there's not a huge difference in working edge one versus the other. But I don't think that the work sharp, if you're not laying into it real hard, but with their belt technology and is that it doesn't heat up the edge too much. I don't think heat is a huge issue on the work sharp. Certainly not at the lower grits. At the higher grits, maybe, but that's why you just limit your time at the higher grits. I don't think heat is a huge issue with the Ken Onion blade grinding attachment. I think the belts are big enough, it's well designed enough, and if the steel makes sense enough, that it's not a real big issue. The alumina, that's kind of an undisputed thing. I mean, that is what it is. I was just wanted to get like the number between the two. So technically it would be 30 grams of difference between the two, but then there's the standard deviation between the two that kind of screws that all up. So take that for what you will. I wanted to supply the background so that you could kind of like make the decision on your own without like knowing statistics, real hard. But I don't know. What do they say? There's like a saying, it's like there's lies, there's fucking lies, and there's statistics. So it's kind of that thing. You can kind of twist them however you want. Those statistics. My computer is saying it's going to die. It's got 20% left. That sounds like it's ready to freaking go. Too much convexity. Yeah. So I sharpened it at 18 degrees per side on the work sharp, but I noticed that so I've got the stiff belts, I've got it set up to be like the least convex possible. But like at the very end of the tip where I did most of the cutting, I was lifting my elbow a little bit. And so like without the elbow lift, I took pictures. I took a video of me doing this. I've got a random video on my YouTube channel because it was me doing this, figuring it out, how much angle was getting added from that convexity. And based off of the pictures that I took, like the stills from that video, I estimated like 1 to 2 degrees are added per side with the belt flex. And then with me lifting my elbow a little bit at the tip, like I believe I did, especially on the one side versus the other, with my left hand lifted more than my right. It added more. So like realistically, I was comparing a perfect, sexy KME 18 degree V to a like at best probably 22 degree shitty ass work sharp edge. That's the thing with the work sharp is like, because it's shitty, that's why I keep trying it. Like I keep trying to make it not shitty, and it just like is like does it make a knife sharper than it used to be, like relatively quickly? Like, sure, yeah, it does. But like, it just, I've never gotten an edge that I could genuinely say I'm like happy with from the Work Sharp like my whole life. Dude, no fucking way. Good morning, bro. That's awesome. That is fucking awesome. Yeah, dude, you guys got all kinds of awesome shit. Also bad shit too, but awesome shit also. Also, I couldn't tell if you're being sarcastic or not after you said that you actually fainted. Then I got concerned. But I loved your comments, especially that first one that you sent me. I think when you first started following my channel, I appreciated that. Let's have a conversation about that. I wanted to mention this. Like where I'm from, like people are not confrontational, and I have so much fun with the mean comments. It is unreal. Like there is not enough mean comments that come into my videos anymore. I like miss them genuinely. I just love. I know. I thought it was a joke, but then you were like, I was like, wait a minute. No, yeah, I appreciated that. But yeah, the mean comments are so fun, and like I've had a few people take them down, which is like such a bummer when they take down the mean comments. But like I'm at the stage of life and like our channel life or whatever where the mean comments are just too good. Like I need some more mean comments because they're so fun. Like they just like make my day. Because like I recognize that this is all like pretty shitty, you know. Like I'm not. it's totally cool. You're Greek. Oh yeah, I guess with that last name, huh? I have nothing to do with it. I wasn't talking about the past. I was talking about current. But I mean, if you're gonna bring it up, bro. I was just kidding. No, I think Germany's a good country. I mean, as far as an American can say, I mean, what can you blame a whole country because of, you know, certain people on a time frame and whatever? I mean, whatever, man. I mean, Germany's got like the biggest economy in Europe, does it not? I mean, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. Also, like in a low key way, I like respect VW for like fucking around with the whole emissions thing on their diesels. Like not actually, but like a little bit. Yes, yeah, we can judge them for that. Yes, okay. I mean, I don't 100% disagree, but like a little bit. You know, that's funny. I think I need another drink too. My computer's gonna die like relatively soon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I have to drink a warm Blue Moon. This is brutal. I love Blue Moon, but like warm though. Ooh, that's harsh. That's harsh. Wow, it does not taste nearly as good at all. Still okay though. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't even know what to talk about. Maybe I shouldn't have opened this. Maybe we should call it a day. I love Blue Moon, by the way. So there's that. When I was coming of age and able to legally buy alcoholic beverages, I believe Blue Moon had just transitioned from the Belgian White from being like a seasonal beer to like an all year round beer, which really worked out slick for myself because I fucking love it. So, excuse me. So that was nice. Also on that note, they've got the new, like the lime ones. Yeah, let's talk more atrocities. Well, I mean, there's been a lot of atrocities committed by a lot of people. Well, either you're talking or you're drinking. Yeah, right. So I'm holding up the other end of the bargain here. Yeah. Now I'm kind of like a little bit of a war buff, a little bit, like not like crazy, but a little bit, just because it's, I mean, how could you not be, right? It's so fucking cool and fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, World War II is so different from World War One. Like, was there really like a bad guy in World War One? I mean, let's just be like real. Now I'm missing with that. Yeah, right. So, but anywho, fuck. What knives to talk about, huh? I mean, we could talk tools a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've all of my in crowd is into the sharpening shit because it's the fun stuff. But I feel like a lot of that like 1K followers is tool related because tools are also badass and fun. Like Demetrios, you're probably the same, right? The tools more than the sharpening. I've been carrying this charge a lot as like my main Leatherman these days. I haven't been using the blade much because I almost always use my pocket knife. Best tester? I don't know. What about it? I haven't bought the razor blades, but like my consistency has gone so much up. It's like don't feel the need to. And mine's like the B model, so it's like the ±5 or whatever. And I ran out of test medium a few weeks ago, and I bought more, obviously. But dude, this new test medium is like so slippery. Like, do you feel that, dude? Like, I have such a hard time like tensioning it correctly because I fucking can't hold on to it. Like, I have like a new method for like properly tensioning this shit, but like Jesus, like it's so hard now. Like it's just so slippery. Like, what the hell is up with that? Like, that's a real rant. Like, I don't know who like is best the company. I don't know, but like whoever fucking did that extra coated, is that, I don't know. Yeah, whatever it is, it's a fucking pain in the ass. But I get pretty consistent results these days. It's green rather than the purple. Yeah, it is green. So there you go. Yeah, the green is. So do they still sell the purple? Is that still a thing I can get? I've been buying it from sharpeningsupplies.com. So I don't know if there's like another supplier that I should be checking out. But yeah, this green shit. Mike to increase shelf life. Okay. There's like a new technique because now it's like as my finger is like slipping off of it, like it's kind of like maintains a constant tension. So I just like screw it down while my fingers are like slipping off, and it's consistent that way. It's on maybe not quite the same exact tension I was using before, but it's been pretty good. We're visiting Salzburg today. Really? Well, that should be fun, bro. Like, have a great day. That's awesome that you're just waking up and got like your stuff right ahead of you. Enjoy, dude. So they actually shot that movie in country, or is the Von Trapp like a real family? I'm not sure. Like, is that based on reality, or did they shoot that movie in country? It sounds so expensive to do that. But enjoy. That's awesome. I appreciate you bopping in just for a second. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a fun fact too. Is one guy who comments here and there had mentioned that he assumed that my audience was mostly American, which I also assumed, but I knew quite a few of my subscribers are European and non-European foreign, and yeah, turns out 40% of my audience is American. Like, just 40%. Isn't that wild? That's something I was not like prepared for. You have more than one Greek? Yeah, right. It does. Yeah. I don't know if I get anybody from the Asian countries though. They got, I don't know. I guess I don't appeal to that crowd. Just random guy in upper Midwest hanging out, talking whatever's going on. Having whatever goes around, I suppose. Canadian, yeah. They go like I said earlier like at the very beginning of this, like I am so close to the Canadian border. I'm basically Canadian. Or Canadians are basically me. I don't know. Actually, my boss is Canadian. Like my boss's boss in a weird way. It's a very weird company structure. But the guy who runs operations here and locally, he's Canadian. He's from Alberta. It's like a 12-hour drive up there where his family's at. So that kind of sucks. I like being close to family. It's nice. I'm only 3 hours away from both sets of grandparents. So that's good for the 2 kiddos. But anywho, so knives and such. Fuck. Talked about crew wear. And that I did that whole thing comparing the hard M390 versus the softer 20CV. The steel, the company, not really the important thing, but the hard versus soft. Vancouver Island. You're saying that you're less north than I am? I live in North Dakota, like fucking like in the northern part of it. What kind of engineer? By schooling, chemical, and by job, I wouldn't even say like petroleum engineer, but I'm in oil and gas. So I don't know. Take that for what it is. Like petroleum engineer doesn't even seem like the right title for like the kind of engineering I do. I'd say right now I do a lot of chemical engineering type stuff, but it kind of varies. It'd be convenient if I was like mechanical engineer, because I feel like my schooling would so much better match up with the material science of all this stuff. But hey, that's how life goes. I remember I was taking the corrosion class in like Y chemical. So where I went to school, the options were civil, mechanical, electrical, and chemical, and petroleum. Those are the options. And I knew I wasn't going to go petroleum because it was a little bit too like specific. I wanted to be a little bit broader. So then between these options, electrical is just like it's like its own thing, and chemical sounded like, I don't know, the hardest of the bunch. Like everybody's a fucking mechanical engineer. So I chose chemical because it's like the hardest of the bunch. I think it suits my personality the best as well, honestly. But like you could take different chemical engineering programs and different schooling, but like where I went, the chemical engineering program was like very heavily focused on like the process industries. Like making chemicals, like things flowing through a pipe and compressors and reactors and shit. And so like that's what I got. And that's worked out pretty well for me. Also in the sugar refining business and also in oil and gas now, that's worked out pretty good. Although like in oil and gas and like stuff with like reservoirs and shit, that's so like outside of my purview. It's like really irritating. But that's what the petroleum engineers are for, and the geologists and stuff. So they can do that. Like there's like you can get like a degree in drilling. Like how specific could that possibly be? That seems like a terrible idea. Like that's something I'd never do. To get a degree in drilling. Like you're like putting all your eggs in one basket kind of a thing. But there's those kind of people, and things like that. But that ain't me. Chemical. And I chose it because it just seemed like the hardest at the time. And with what I know now, is a lot of the things, it's easier for me to learn some of the mechanical engineer things than it is for mechanical engineer to learn like the chemical engineer stuff. Does it translate to making a sweet custom beer? Yes, very well, actually. Yes, quite a few chemies. Not even so much beer, just like general liquor. But yes, quite a bit. Yeah. Lots of people do that. Actually, when I was working at the sugar refinery, I had bought this like tiny little pump for this little like chemical injection automation thing I did. And the motor was in 120 volt, and we wanted to be in 480 volt for a number of reasons. So like 120 volt motor like laying around, and one of the other engineers like brought it home to like, and he put like installed it to his like agitator or something for his brewing setup. So he did that a lot. I haven't done that. Yeah, like distillation, like making ethanol, like the graph for separating ethanol from water is like literally 100 years old because it's like the first thing we figured out, and we still use that same graph today for that kind of separation. So yes, that's like Chemie 101 as separating water from ethanol. So yeah, it totally translates to that actually. That's the funny thing with engineering is, and science, I guess, in general, is there's a lot of things that we didn't understand at like the chemical atomic level all those years ago. But like 100 years ago, we figured out empirically how much energy it takes to do a separation of water and ethanol. And it doesn't matter how much you learn between then and now, it still takes that much energy to separate water and ethanol. So like there's so many things that are just like fundamentally true empirically, that like when you open engineering textbooks, like there's charts that are like 100 years old or like 80 years old because it's like the laws of nature don't change whether or not you understand them to the atom level or not. Like when you measure something correctly, like that's it. So there's a lot of that shit that's like old. And like I've got a few, like I've got two different books or a series of books that are like the old edition and then like 3 editions newer. And like the newer editions have like the same chart in it that's been like photocopied like 10 times, and it's like worse in the new book. So like get out the old book to look at the chart because it's like better quality because it hasn't been photocopied 10 million times. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Is that stuff. Fuck. Oh, I was gonna say this whole like M390 versus the hard versus the soft did give me an appreciation for working edge. I've been living in a working edge world more than I ever have. Like normally I just can't even like stand a working edge. Like I just need it to be like atom splitting sharp. I've been appreciating that more lately. My computer is gonna die here. I couldn't do this on my phone, but I bet it would be dead by now anyways. You can only keep one of those knives on the table. Well, there's too much sentimental value around this one. This is the one I would choose. It's a custom mini barrage in M4. My wife and who was my girlfriend at the time gave me this custom knife a long time ago. Like M4 is good to go. Super comfortable handle. It's a nice size. The geometry is about the same as a bug out. So like I think it's like 18 thou at 20 degrees per side or 18 degrees per side or so. So it's like not awful. Yeah, like I said, super comfortable handle. Decent blade shape, decent geometry, decent steel. It'd probably be this mini barrage right here. If I could, if I took that out of the factor, then you got a fucking tough question. I think I love 10V and K390 too much to choose Rex 45 or Crewwear. If Crewwear was harder, then maybe. I've never tried Crewwear that's like super fucking hard. And like I do really like this 10V, but I don't love the PM2 that much. Like I do and I don't. Like there's so many things that it fucking does right, Like there's just so many things, but like there's other things that it doesn't. And like the Delica can live in my pocket for a long time and I can be happy. So maybe this K390 Delica. I also love the Para 3. And I'd probably choose the Rex. I'd probably choose the Rex Para 3. It'd probably be in between these knives. And I think it would go in this order. If I couldn't be sentimental, I might just choose the Deli. But if I was in the right mood and I felt like G10 had a better action, then I might choose the Para 3 and Rex. But like the Delica, it's so fucking hard. It's so hard. The blade is thin. It's like 15 thou behind the edge at 17, 16, 15 degrees per side. The handle is comfortable. It's light. It's thin. Like, it's fucking awesome. Like, it's just like, so, I see sometimes I see videos of like, is the Delica still relevant or some shit? And I'm like, you got to be high on crack. Like, if it's a good design once, it's still a good design. On the fully serrated K390, I would never buy it, but I bet that shit could cut for like literally eons. That's my thought on the serrated K390. It is absolutely positively not for me, but I bet it could cut for a fucking long time. So if you're the kind of person that says, I will never sharpen a blade my entire life, and I'm going to cut through a lot of stuff that I don't really care how it turns out at the end, I just needed to separate A from B maybe, then I don't think you could do better than a fully serrated K390 maybe. But it's not my speed, not for me. Fuck, I'm like really enjoying this. I think my computer's like literally on the verge of death. I started out at 100% battery and I've only gone for 2. It is a tough. How about you, Sean? Can you give me a production and a custom? Gotta go quick because I think my computer's gonna die. I'm not really sure what happens to the live stream after that. Same with you, Zebulon. What are you thinking? Oh, shit. You know, while you guys are thinking, I'm going to go grab the charger. I don't think I'm going to go too much longer, but I don't want it to die quite yet. Oh, yeah. Let's get her plugged. Infinite power. Oh. Okay, still thinking. Not gonna lie, I've been thinking about Chris Reeves and when they come out with the Magna Cut. I was waiting for the S45, but I was thinking about I think they're thinking about doing the Magna Cut. I've been thinking about that a little bit, but then I ask myself if I want to spend $400 on a CRK or if I want to spend $400 on a vitrified diamond stone. I'm just more into sharpening than I am the knives themselves right now, because in terms of production knives, I've kind of got a good smattering of stuff to experience, so I'm more after like the sharpening part of it kind of right now. Triple B, right? Yeah. That is totally different. That's awesome, though, to like something different. Do you actually have a Triple B Rex 121, you lucky bastard? I know. Oh, my God. You know what drives me bananas? Like, honestly, is IVN sharper than S35 or sharper, tougher? Like, probably not. Like, I don't even remember the numbers right now because I'm too drunk to think about it. But like, yeah. I don't know. Rex, like I like the extremes, but Rex is extreme. I like how you two are the only guys still on here right now. Thanks to everybody else. But yeah, like all these like running S35 soft as shit, like where I don't even really want it that much. And all of a sudden, like they're just like, well, we've been saying that for so long. Now there's S45. Like this is the excuse we're going to use to bump up the hardness. I'm like, it's not tougher than S35. Like what were you waiting for? You know, like it's like they didn't want to like lose face, you know? That is just driving me bananas. Like Magna Cut, that makes sense, that jump. But even then, like who's really breaking S35 VN blades? Like who's chipping them out? Who's doing that? Like nobody's doing that. At this geometry, at fucking 20 thou behind the edge at like 20 to 15 degrees per side. And that's for a Spidey. Like fuck, like you got to buy a S35 blade from what, ZT? It's like baby poop soft and like 30 thousandths behind the edge. Like why? And like, yeah, everybody's doing it, which I love. I love that people are going harder for S45 VN, all about that. But I'm like I feel like you guys, like what happened here? It's so dumb. It's good. It's good where they're going, but it's so dumb that we had to deal with poopy soft S35 VN in the meantime. This is an S35 PM2. This was like I said, the first nice knife I really got. I mean, that's not like 100% true, but like the first like G10 and everything knife. But I think this stuff is probably in the ballpark of like 59.5 or so. Does run harder at the same. Okay, so that's fair. Like that's fair, Sean. You do think they held so long because of his further? I don't know, Zebulon. I'm not sure. Sean could probably answer you better. I just think that they cater to the lowest common denominator because they have to, for the most part, or they choose to, have to, a little bit of both. And so they ran their S35 soft. But yeah, I see what you're saying in terms of like what you can heat treat in those big ass ovens and stuff. I'm right. That's what you're driving at, I'm sure. So that's totally fair. That's totally fair. But I still have those feelings in my heart still a little bit, even though that's the truth. So I ignore the truth moderately. Okay, there you go. Yeah. You know, that happens though. You get busy doing one thing, you just don't have time to do it right or something anyways, to change it. So, I mean, that happens. It's not, I don't think that's the way to do it. You know, like, yeah, I don't think it could be stressed, like how much you could go out of your way. Like it'd be worth, like it's worth going out of your way to do it, to that extra mile. But I mean, fuck, like how many knives does Spyderco sell to like, you know, average Joe versus like yourself or me or anybody who probably watches this channel and actually like gives a shit and notices a difference, you know, versus people that are just like, as long as it doesn't rust and it seems like it cuts longer than my old buck, like I don't care. But just heard somebody, the neighbor. It's late. Drinking my warm Blue Moon. Yeah, if it ain't broke, right? Playing it a little bit safe. Just imagine. Oh my God, yeah. Dude, like, and I have no doubt you have more experience of seeing this world than I do. But like the headache of translating things to mass production or anything, oh my God. And like I physically cannot wrap my mind around the concept that Spyderco produces their like normal S30 blades and also does all the sprint runs and exclusives at the same time, or relatively. That literally doesn't make sense in my head. Like the degree of like genius and expertise that goes into that. And Spyderco, like this Rex 45 is fucking like, what, 66 Rockwell? Like that's swinging for the fence. Like the fact that they do that in the same factory is actually mind blowing. So like I'm not hating on Spyderco, but yeah, I mean even in other companies though, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Thank you. Hi, Blades and Fades. What's up, man? Thank you for joining. I'm just getting drunk and rambling and such and whatnot. Talking to like my hero over here. Too bad it wasn't like multi-way video. But yeah, the translation of things to like the mass is incredible. The amount of work, oh my god. Like I've done projects where you translate like ideas to reality, where like I've literally had the like success and failure of projects on like finding bolts. Like the stupidest, most like the detail things are just fucking dumb as hell. Oh my god, isn't he? Right? Dude, I got to do more of these live chats. It's funny because there's six people on here, but like there hasn't been much people on. This has been very entertaining. This has been like the best thing ever. So I got to do more of these things. Yeah, I wasn't expecting many people to show up, much less the man, the myth, the legend. So this has been like more than I could have expected right here. And like I took off a video that I had because I was wrong on one of them, but just like I was kind of tired of waiting to like make sure that I was right about everything to make a video, like to put it out there. Like I was just like, you've done like enough homework at this point. I think you do more like good than bad. Like let's just like start making YouTube videos because it's entertaining and fun. And like the amount that I've learned by having done, thank you. Yeah. The amount that I've learned on like, I'm not going to say teaching, but like going through this process, like it's accelerated my learning so much. Like, I do screw things up, but I think that the aggregate is good and that it's worth doing. Yeah, right. Thank you. That's true. I mean, I can't believe that anybody's still here, much less, yeah, like you, Sean. Like I appreciate it so much. Like, and like I've bothered Sean before, like via Instagram Messenger, so he's kind of used to my shit like a little bit, and bothering him and wasting his time. But I didn't even know that you knew I had a YouTube channel, so I don't even know how you like slithered on in here and track me down. If you're losing, obviously the higher grit you go, the more bite you're going to lose in the edge. But honestly, if your edge like goes totally dead flat when you strop, yeah, right. Yeah, well, you definitely did it tonight. But if your edge goes dead flat when you go to the strops, you probably didn't deburr enough on the stones before you went to the strop. My preference for S30V, I like a little bit of a finer edge than is probably practical. So like I'll probably go a little bit past 1K depending, but like, in like the 1500, 2K, 3K area ish. But yeah, if you're going dead flat on the strops, that's probably because you didn't deburr adequately on the stones, or you're just going like freaking ham on the strops and just like over polishing that thing. Yeah. So that's that. If there's that, does that answer your question? It's always good to ask that. Yeah. Then they get honest, right? Mm. Yeah. Truth serum. Yeah. Maybe at 1,500 or 2K. Who God knows how long it'll take to get to 2K. Not that I'm really like shooting for that or anything, but anywho, yeah, maybe I'll do another live stream. I got to run it past the boss before I do another one. And my wife thinks it's the funniest thing doing this. Yeah. It's been a privilege talking to you, man. Thank you so much for dropping in here and spending freaking 3 hours with me. That's awesome. Like I said, like just I hope one day I meet you in real life. I would love to talk to you and get one of those big old bear hugs. So thank you so much, man. Have a great night, and looking forward to a good week. So hit it hard, man. Looking forward to seeing the posts out there. Cheers. Spider Coat, yeah. Jalevsky. That's that's kind of what I have to say on that is really focus. I've been there. I've done that, man. I know exactly what you're feeling. If you're still here, I've killed so many edges on the strops, and it's usually because I haven't done adequate work on the stones. That's pretty much the deal there. You'll definitely get much better results if you really focus on what you're ending on here on the stones. Excuse me, I can't stop burping. Oh, yeah. Well, geez, I thought I was going to talk a little bit about tools and such, but no, this was a great knife and sharpening conversation, which is obviously what's really like doing it for me these days. Cause like all of my content is sharpening related. Cause I just kind of make whatever I'm thinking about and whatever is kind of motivating me. And so, obviously sharpening is just really where my mind's been. I'm just really enjoying it, dude. Yeah. Right back at you, Zeppelin. Thank you for staying on for so long. I appreciate it. And engaging in the chat. The chat is like super fun. Like I said, I wish it was like video both ways. I think that'd be really fun. I'll probably wrap it up here in the next like 3 minutes. I gotta take another piss break and probably just go to bed. But yeah, I mean, I hope I haven't alienated the tool crowd that I know to attract. Like my most popular video is, I think, a review on this guy right here, the Nipex Cobra XS. Great tool. I've got a lot of tool followers, I think, and I hope I haven't kind of left them out in the dust. I hope what's happened is I drew them in with this kind of stuff and then keep them with this kind of stuff, because everybody should know how to sharpen. Thank you. I'm glad. I get so worried. It's so much easier to like, I feel like talk like I normally talk in this format, like it's been, especially with, this stuff in me. But I worry that the videos are a little bit too like flat and stale, but I'm glad that the passion kind of comes through a little bit. Ruby stones. I haven't looked into them at all. A long time ago, Michael Christie used them in one of his sharpening videos. It might have even been like ZDP 189 or something that you could sharpen with stones like that. What was it? What was he sharpening? That's like the last time I had heard them be mentioned. I don't know what, like ruby stones. I mean, it's saying like ruby, like the gem ruby stones, or I guess I don't know what to look for with like ruby stones. Are they kind of like a natural stone? I've been thinking real hard about checking out some like the black Arkansas stones and stuff. Probably not Japanese natties because they're so expensive. Like, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, thank you, Levski. I appreciate that because yeah, like that's exactly what I try to do. I don't really try to do the same review or whatever that everybody else has done. Anybody can look up the specs or watch the 10,000 reviews. I just kind of try to say it how I see it. And yeah, this the way I understand things and yeah, my usage on it. And I only talk about things that I've used. And I'm not saying I understand everything fully, even though I've used it. But, talk about things that I've, done instead of just being like, yeah, this is a product. Here's the specifications or whatever. So I'm glad that kind of like comes through even, without the fancy annotations or editing or whatever. So thank you. I appreciate that. Ruby honing rod, and it's made by Seeger. Well worth the money. The most balanced bite fine edge ever. I've heard, and I have tried. I've heard about. So is it a natural style stone? Right? Is that the deal? Part of it too. Like I've heard things kind of like that some of these natural stones can just get like the sickest combination of like refined and bite ever. They maybe have a little bit of a hard time with some of the harder steels. But if you're talking like honing rod, I think that might be legit for like kitchen knives, which obviously I'm really into also. And I've been using like the Idaho Fine. I think it's like a 12 or 1500 grit. What what the grit rating would be on that guy? The Ruby honing rod. I'm gonna look it up so I don't forget. I'm just gonna pull up on my phone so I've got it. Ruby honing rod. Seeger. I used to know a guy named Seeger, the project manager. He was legit. Taught me a lot just watching him. He always knew more what was going on than like anybody else. Is pretty amazing. Like that guy. I miss him. I miss Scott Seeger. Look him up. He's awesome. Here's one that Boker makes. Doesn't seem like it's still on sale on Amazon. That's kind of weird. I'll see all buying options. $100. I actually have a tried. Nope. It's a synthetic ruby. Okay. I believe that. Okay. Now that makes sense. I want to ask you, like to use the Venetian stones and what do you think about the Naniwa Chaucera stones? Okay, so for S30V, S45, S90, don't get the Chauceras. They'll definitely sharpen them. The S90V is not going to be ideal. I don't know if you've seen my Chaucera video. I've got right here. Ooh, wrong side. So this is the 800, and then in here is the 3K. I really like the Chauceras. They're not perfect, but they will sharpen any steel to different degrees of goodness. Are you going to use the Chauceras on Maximate? No. I did use them on a K390, and it was really like wildly unideal, but like it worked. But I did a whole study on these, and I even have a report that you can read. So go find the video. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long, where I link the report that I wrote on these two Chauceras, and you can kind of see where the performance drops off on them. And it's like there's like a line, and it depends on hardness and carbide volume where it really drops off the performance of these things. But they'll cut it. They'll cut pretty much any steel. Not ideal for high vanadium carbide. Stick with the Veneves. Chaucera has way more feedback, way more like fun to use than the Veneves, but like in terms of sharpening stones, they don't have the most feedback of any. Like if you want like a feedback crazy stone, like the Suehiro Rika I'm giving away over there is totally way more up that alley, and all the Suehiro line, for matter of fact. Definitely for those steels, do the Veneves. Just do the Veneves. Do the Veneves. I would recommend starting with this one down here. This is the 240-400F. Buy that one for like $90 or whatever. Gritomatic ships super quick. Do that for sure. Yeah, you won't. I don't think you'd be disappointed. The 240 moves stuff pretty quick, and the 400's like decent. Offers 2 different grits made in Germany, and they're in the U.S. Degusset, is that a website? My phone again. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom again. Excuse me. Boker, Seeger. Everything I'm seeing is Boker when I look up the Seeger. But Ruby, you're saying anyways, that's kind of the key there. Oh, that's not it. I've been looking for a new, I mean, people really like the Idahoans. The Idahoan that I've got is pretty well known. So I kind of feel like weird going away from it because I feel like it is pretty well established, if that kind of makes sense. Wet or dry. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna keep talking to you about this, but I do have to go pee. Otherwise, I'm gonna like burst at the seams. It takes 2 minutes. Oh man, once again, like brand freaking new. All right, I guess it's 602K bench stones, ruby bench stones. You use the ruby on K390, huh? Huh. Do you just kind of like the format on that? Or I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I mean, even Ruby's not going to cut vanadium carbide, and K390 is like oozing. Granted, this is the guy that sharpened K390 with the Chaucera, so who am I to talk? It might be nice on speaking to me what you're saying, because that's really what I've been looking for. I've been experimenting with the honing rods for kitchen knives. I have a super nice like F-Dick. It's just over. Actually, I think it's inside. F-Dick, like sapphire cut Dickeron steel that I like a lot, that I've used a lot. And then I have like a 12-inch Idahoan fine that I've used a lot too. And what I find is like the F-Dick leaves like too fine of an edge that doesn't really cut. And the Idahoan leaves like too coarse of an edge that's too grabby. Huh. Interesting. Super interesting. I've seen Michael Christie talk about the ruby stones a little bit. Interesting. I forget I forget what ruby's like doped with to make it red. You know, it's like alumina, like it's the aluminum that makes sapphire blue and stuff like that. At one point, I knew that. All right, Theodore, do you want to give me a call or are you going to make a video? You should make a video and send it to me. Or send me a link if that's what you're going to do. I'd be interested. So yeah, I have my one Instagram like for this channel is like engineer's perspective. It's pretty straight. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like very straightforward. Let's check it out. Let's see how many followers we got over there. Of course, I follow a couple people on that channel. Triple B, Knife Steel Nerds. Where do we got here? Yeah, just engineers perspective. Engineers _ perspective. That's the Insta. Yeah, do that, please. I'd be very interested in seeing a different honing rod method for the kitchen knives, particularly. Yeah. But it is fucking late. I cannot believe this live stream went for 3 hours. I told my wife, I was like, maybe about an hour. Yeah, I wasn't expecting, much for a turnout, but there's definitely some very good and enjoyable conversation that went on here. Perfect. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Oof. I've been awake for so long. I'm like hungry now. Fuck. I'm gonna have to grab something before I jump in bed. I suppose when I finish this beer, then I'll be done. And then that's it. Yeah, not a lot to talk about. I'm such a whore for just like trying out different things just to try them out. And I keep wanting to buy one of those Work Sharp precision adjusts. Night, man. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. But I've got the KME. I don't need the precision adjust like at all. Like the degree to which I do not need it could not be overstated. But I keep wanting to buy it just to try it out. But I just can't. I'm just like, that's such a waste of $60 for me. Not that it's not worth the money. Just for me, all this crap that I've got, it's just like does not make sense. But I just want to try it. I've been going through a thing too of trying to figure out the right sharpening system for my mother-in-law. And try to keep her stuff sharp. 60. See, how awesome is that you're from Bulgaria? That's just badass. It is 1:30 in the morning here. So, yeah, I'm pretty well into the night here. Yeah, 1:30. Hey, you guys are waking up over there on the other side of the globe. Like, how badass is that? Sell some nice, sick stones. I don't know. I don't know if I'd try those silicon carbide stones because they're more like the. Yeah, here, hold on, I'll be right there. I'll be right over here. So like this is like the Naniwa flattening stone because those Gritomatic ones are more in this vein, aren't they? Or are they more like Waterstone style? I don't think I'd really be feeling like trying these. I don't know. I love my King Neo because it's like a full-on legit sexy muddy Waterstone, and I like that, and it's got the silicon carbide, but I think I would rather just go straight to diamonds or CBN, honestly. But hard saying not knowing, I guess. But I think that's more what I would go at. Certainly not anything like this. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say in terms of trying out more abrasives, it's either got to be like a pretty luxe Japanese waterstone like the Choseras or like the Suehiro Debatos. Those have been on my mind, or something like diamond. It's probably where I'm at in life right now. Yeah. Wonder what's going on over there in Bulgaria, like how things are. You're probably pretty similar, not weather necessarily, but seasonally to us up here. It's kind of turned into fall over there a little bit, no doubt. Getting some cooler days. It's kind of like a Midwestern thing, is to start talking about weather, no matter whenever you don't not sure what to talk about. Yeah, as I said before, only 40% of my audience is actually American, so that's kind of, you're a great example of that. That's kind of cool. Almost done. Almost done. Just a teeny bit left. It has been a good 3 hours. Wow. But it's been very enjoyable. I'm really glad I did this. I was not that many people were, I don't think we broke 10 people on at any one time, but this was pretty good. This was pretty entertaining. I got all my crap laying out here, rambled on about lots of stuff. I'm going to leave this up on the channel for anybody who's sick and wild enough to actually watch this shit. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is I like picking a time for this live stream. Like, it didn't even make sense. So many people aren't even on, even close to like my time for this to make sense. But I'm glad that I caught some of you guys in the morning, because you're not the first one either. Like Demetrios was also mentioned that, so I'm glad that worked out too. Yeah. It's the whole thing's gonna be up to watch later. I don't know. You'd have to, like I said, like actually be crazy to watch this whole thing. But anywho, that's all she wrote. Yeah. It's pretty chilly at night and in the early morning. And then in the afternoon, in the evening, or not an evening, but like in the afternoon, it's like hot. So it's like, yeah, you have to like bundle up to stay warm in the morning, and then you like shed all the layers in the afternoon. It's so annoying. Yeah, interesting. So, well, that's all I got. That was, like I said, pretty fun. So hopefully there'll be another one of these in the semi-near future. Yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Guess you have any burning? Nice thing. Good to hear, Theodore. You guys have any burning questions before I go? Before I bounce? All of my young knowledge. Well, if you do, I mean, you can always leave a comment. Always leave a comment. It is so late, but very great. This is awesome. All right. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Oh, so to some of you, have a great night, and to the others, have a great day. Enjoy the upcoming week. So have a good one. Bye.